15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
I would say the one word I would associate the most with Jerry Jones is unnecessary. Everything he does is unnecessary. It's overcomplicated. You don't have to be this difficult. Why, Perloff? Why? Welcome to the show, by the way. Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. The reason why I say unnecessary, not that he's unnecessary as the owner of the Cowboys. I'm saying unnecessary drama that gets built up around this Micah Parsons contract extension. And if you're just getting caught up on the latest, Jerry Jones was at the owners' meetings yesterday. And for some reason, Perloff, when things seem to be going well with the negotiations between the owner and the star pass rusher, he had to make it overcomplicated by taking a shot at Micah Parsons' agent, which was not productive. It is not getting anyone any closer to the finish line. And in fact, just muddies the waters when we kind of thought this thing was going to be close to a done deal.
Well, maybe he's negotiating. He's sending a sending a Jerry-like message. Don't mess with me. We're doing this deal. I think the whole thing is we're in a gray area of Jerry world, right?
Oh, lovely.
Is this all true? Do you even believe him?
Well, let's play some Jerry clips, Manny. Let's hear it. So first, Jerry Jones says he's working with Parsons, that the agent, not a factor.
Are you kidding me? That's just not something that you should worry about. You should be worrying about your ability to make it work, and you should be worried about what the player does. Does he have good enough health? Does he have enough skill to do what you're paying him the money for? The agent is not a factor here or something to worry about.
Okay, well, yeah. We know. You already said you want to make Micah Parsons the highest paid non-quarterback in the NFL. Clearly, you're comfortable with the health. Clearly, you're comfortable with everything around him, his production, his off-the-field stuff and podcasts. You're clearly comfortable with everything about Micah Parsons. So, to be honest, this is exactly when the agent gets involved because both sides know that they want to come to an agreement here. So this is where the T's get crossed, the I's get dotted, and Jerry's been at this long enough. I don't understand why trying to cut out the agent, like, what does that do when you've already basically had a handshake agreement that you're going to make the guy the highest paid non-QB?
Right, but here's the thing, Jerry. He obviously, how do you logistically cut out the agent? He knows the agent's going to come in at some point.
Of
like,
course.
who's going to do the paperwork?
I don't. Who's
And
going
the other thing, too,
to send it to the league? Yeah.
The team talked to the agent at the combine. That wasn't that long ago. This whole thing is so bizarre. There's no reality to what he's saying. It's just sending some kind of message, right? Like, he knows the agent's name. He was.
Well,
okay. That's like, oh, sorry.
Let's hear that cut, Manny. I'll take the second cut. It says he doesn't know Micah Parsons' agent's name.
I don't know his name. And so my point is that I'm not trying to demean him in any way, but this isn't about an agent. The agent doesn't have one thing to do with what we're doing when we get on a football field against a team. Micah does. To the degree I'm involved, I do.
Okay, so here's the thing where I'm going to agree with Jerry on this one, but here's the thing. I didn't mind, and I don't mind when agents work in silence, okay? Like, it's become a thing now where agents become a little more superstars, like the Drew Rosenhauses and Lee Steinberg and these kind of household names of these big agents, you know? I don't care about the agent, but I know that they're necessary in this world, right? And so does Jerry. So, yeah, the agent isn't going to make Micah Parsons run faster, tackle the quarterback harder, or lead you to any wins. But to say that you don't know who he is and that, you know, and essentially what you're doing is saying this doesn't matter to me, so it shouldn't matter to the player, where Micah Parsons is saying this guy matters very much to me and I want him involved. So I just don't get it from a negotiating tactic, right? I don't.
That's because it's not real. Of course he knows. Of course he's negotiating with the agent. Here's the thing that really surprised me, and maybe I'm being the naive one. He said that he didn't negotiate with Emmett's agent, Deion's agent, Romo's agent. He said that Dak's agent did the whole deal.
Dak's agent got one over.
He was very specific. He's like, yeah, Dak wouldn't talk to me.
Yeah,
but
smart.
Is that really true? Like, he avoided Emmitt Smith's agent? I don't know who Emmitt Smith's agent was. I'm sure it's some gigantic titan of the agent. But he actually, is this true? You believe that? Like, how do you get all these deals done and avoid these agents? That's not how the NFL works. So I think he's using some sort of hyperbole here, right? Obviously, he's going to talk to the agent. They're already talking to the agent. What does he say? Like, you think Micah is a lawyer and is going to be able to finish a deal? I don't understand.
He is the head of BR Football, Bleacher Report. Maybe he's also a lawyer. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't. So I think Jerry is actually upset with this agent, and I do think he's saying, I'm not trying to demean him. I don't remember your name, and you're one of the highest profile agents in the league. There's David Mulugeta is not a small agent. There's an ESPN special following him around. Yeah. He's got gigantic clients. There's nothing small about him. So Jerry, I don't know what he's trying to achieve. You're right. You started out like, what's the point? I don't know the point. He's trying to send a message.
We're muddying the waters here for no reason.
Are you sure this isn't a Johnny Manziel draft situation where the team is putting Jerry out and he's just saying random things and something completely different happening behind the scenes?
Well, I would question that strategy because,
everyone thinks Will McClay is running the show.
Fine, and that's fine. But like, what is when the front-facing person is supposed to be the person who doesn't drum up the controversy, right? The one who makes this run smoothly. And let's just take this from the specifics of what's going on in yet another Dallas Cowboys circus to what actually matters here to Cowboys fans. Can you win in this environment? Is this in any way, like, you look at what's going on and it's Micah Parsons and now Jerry saying there's no urgency to get the deal done. Like, we are back in the twilight zone of every one of these big negotiations that get drawn out for no reason.
Are you kidding me?
Shadow over training camp, maybe. All this stuff, it just ends up being ridiculous. And I just ask, can you win in this environment? Can anyone?
Now, define win.
Super Bowl.
Well, that's not happening. Define, let's be honest. The Cowboys haven't won a Super Bowl in 35 years. Right. I think now the bar is lowered.
Can they get past the divisional round? You have the highest paid quarterback in the league. To say we're going to be in this to finish with a above 500 record is nonsense.
The bar has definitely changed on this Cowboys team. Super Bowl, I've said it forever. They're never going to win a Super Bowl with Jerry is running the show.
Right.
It's not a hot take.
Right.
I think that has become the common take.
Yeah, I think most people agree with you.
Now I think the question, are they even holding on to the playoff level team? The 3 straight 12-5 seasons, is the core of that team enough? I think the question is, can they make the playoffs again during Jerry's reign, or are they falling off a cliff?
So here's the funny thing about that, though, right? Because, you say that you've said this, you've stood by it. They'll never win when Jerry's there. But
win a Super Bowl.
Win a Super Bowl. But can we zoom out for a second? You got the highest paid quarterback. You have one of the highest paid receivers. You're about to have the highest paid pass rusher. You have one of the high paid corners.
Right.
Those, and, we can talk about left tackle, who they always do a good job of replenishing the offensive line. So when you're talking about those money positions, you're talking about the positions that really make a difference on a football team. The Cowboys have talent at all of those positions. So why do we downgrade them? Only because of the circus. Only because of Jerry, right?
No. They can't stop the run.
All right. Well, they re-signed their interior defensive linemen. They're adding resources there. They switch defensive coordinators. Like, they're doing what teams do when they have a big deficiency. They're trying, I guess.
I think there's a difference between having these high-priced guys. The Eagles have high-priced guys, but they draft perfectly around to complement the team. Cowboys have not been able to get a second receiver. They tried with Brandon Cooks. They've tried in the draft. They have not been able to secure their interior defensive line. They missed with Mazi Smith. They definitely have. You have to be, when you have these high contracts, you have to draft really, really well. And they've lost their fastball a little bit. Like they've struggled. I mean, they've been trying to find this wide receiver 2 now for 5 years.
Yeah. And
they've been trying to do it on the cheap, and it has not worked for a bunch of different reasons. So don't you think, when you look at their team, I mean, remember the Packers playoff loss? They just were not sturdy up front, and their linebacking core was not good. So I don't know. Is it the circus or is it actually this team? Do you think another coach could win with this team?
Well, Brian Schottenheimer, you're up.
Yeah, I just think that they definitely, last year they should have signed Derrick Henry. They made a massive mistake.
Yeah, but they'll tell you that Derrick Henry wouldn't have made a difference on this team. Not in the way that he did with the Baltimore Ravens. That's a much better team around them.
They'll tell you that?
Well, I mean, I think so. I think a lot of people believe that he would have not had the impact.
Oh,
because
my God.
They were not playing from in front very often. The Dallas Cowboys didn't have big leads that Derrick Henry could sit on in the second half or into the fourth quarters. That was not what was going on.
Very good point, but I think he would have changed the whole vibe there. I mean, I think everyone looked at that was the biggest mistake of the offseason. But Derrick Henry wanted to go to the Cowboys. Sure. He said it. I think you're looking at personnel mistakes, and I'm not killing them. I mean, let me ask you this question. They're going to end up signing Micah Parsons to a $41 million a year. Is that the right contract?
Listen, I think the biggest problem is the Dak contract. I mean, we could all go back to that. I think that's where Jerry Jones showed that, to be honest, he's not that great of a businessman. So he's a great businessman in terms of turning the Dallas Cowboys into a team he bought for $800 million that's probably worth $12 billion or something now. Good for you on that. But as far as being a good football businessman, he's not, because that Dak contract is embarrassing. As far as the CeeDee Lamb and Micah Parsons, I think these guys are at the top of their game, and they're up and they're due. And Jerry waited and waited, didn't get Parsons done before Myles Garrett, didn't get Parsons done before Max Crosby, and now you're going to be at the whim of the market, right? You are paying the toppest dollar, and they basically did for CD too. He's not as good as Justin Jefferson. He was not as good as Jamar Chase, so he was just a shade below those guys.
Parsons is going to get paid more than Crosby. Anyway.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. They didn't get it done before.
No, I mean, in any world, I don't think that there's a world where Max Crosby, I don't think will get paid higher than Parsons.
I think
it's
the
a little
timing
young.
of this stuff, right?
Yeah, but Parsons has got this age thing. He's young.
Yeah.
So Myles Garrett, of course, he has a great argument to be the highest paid. He's a dominant force. But I don't know. I just think and even the Dak thing, did we know at the time? I mean, look at you have to kill all the other teams that paid $50+ million for their quarterback.
Let's do it.
I mean,
you want to kill the Miami Dolphins for the Tua contract? Totally.
How about the Jags, the Packers? I mean, I just think I don't think the Cowboys are alone in this high-paid quarterback problem. Did they pay a little bit more for Dak? Yes. But he was going to get 55. I mean, so they went up to 60. Is it? I just think honestly.
Potato.
So you're saying, and also, by the way, did you kill the Dak deal when it happened?
I mean, I didn't think it was going to happen. I put a Waffle House bet on it. Yeah. I now have to eat 24 hours worth of waffles. So I think I literally did put my stomach on the line for this. But here's the thing. The thing about the Jordan Love contract, take Tua out of it. Miami, that was ridiculous. Trevor Lawrence, though, and let's take it specifically with the Packers. Look at what they had to see. They saw Jordan Love put together a really incredible out of nowhere playoff run.
Right.
When's Dak done that?
Dak was second in MVP voting the year before.
Those are better big waffles.
He was a better quarterback than Jordan Love that year.
Okay, that's fine. He's also much older. He also had an injury already. And
I think this is all easier to say after Dak missed the season with injuries.
Listen, I literally said I didn't think they were going to do the deal. I'll do 24 hours of Waffle House waffles, Pearl. You won that bet. You're going to watch me turn into a satellite.
I don't know. It feels like Monday morning quarterback on the Dak deal. You hate
to go to a Waffle House and eat for 24 hours. I'm
Here
toast.
We go. Oh, I didn't actually. I apologize. I didn't know. But when they signed the deal, I think most people in the media were like, "Yeah, Dak's going to pay a lot for Dak. He's just second in MVP voting." This is kind of the contract where he was going to land. I don't think, except for you, it was a shock to anybody.
Well, here's the other thing. You could have gotten Dak done earlier, so that number was not as high. They've restructured him now this offseason to create a little bit more space. And then here's the other part that maybe doesn't make a lot of sense. If Dak was second in MVP voting, and you really think that he's this great quarterback, why'd you get rid of his coach? I know Mike McCarthy's not Bill Walsh. I understand that he's not above reproach here. But if everyone was going so great and if Dak was doing so well, why did you get rid of McCarthy?
I mean, is this a real question?
I'm just saying.
Did you watch McCarthy?
What other head coaches who would coach a quarterback to second in MVP? No one's getting rid of Kyle Shanahan with what he did with Brock Purdy, who was third in MVP voting that year, or fourth.
Well, Dak, they let McCarthy have one more year, which a lot of people were kind of curious about. And it didn't work. They almost fired him after the Packers game, I assume. Right? We all thought that McCarthy was in big trouble.
Fired after that game.
We all thought he was in trouble, so they gave him one more year. Dak's won with multiple coaches. I don't think,
but never been that high in MVP. Like you're
but
saying,
he's never been tied to McCarthy. I mean, Dak was
peaking.
fine with Jason Garrett. He was really good.
I don't know.
You think Dak is definitely not a McCarthy product?
No, he's not tied to it, but he did better under McCarthy than Kellen Moore. And if it's like, wow, we could justify this being the highest paid quarterback in the NFL, he still is, by the way. Even though Josh Allen redid his deal and Burrow and everyone, it's still Dak who's the highest paid, and nobody thinks he can win a Super Bowl. 888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. Can we just play one other Jerry cut for you? Because this is the one that's really going to get you upset if you're a Cowboy fan. We're asking if you can ever win here with Jerry Jones. So I'll take cut 15. This is Jerry. Not worried at all about the Micah Parsons deal. Why? Because he always gets what he wants.
I've never had anything I wanted I couldn't get. Ever. I'll figure out a way. I really haven't. And I mean, that's within reason. But you figure it out.
Yeah. I mean, I can think of one thing. You haven't been to the Super Bowl in 30 years, so it turns out that you really can't buy everything that you want. It turns out that just being a billionaire is not enough in this industry.
Hey-o.
Lots of guys are rich. Lots of guys can buy things. You can't buy a Super Bowl win. Jerry, this is the height of the delusional Jerry. I think this is what makes fans really ticked off when they hear stuff like that.
I mean, but this has been a long time hearing stuff like that. Yeah, I mean, everybody has basically the same payroll in the NFL. You can't outspend. There's nothing you can buy.
And they're not outfoxing anybody either.
No, I mean.
So congrats on the billions. Like, you made it. Good for you. But to say you get everything you want and you always find a way, you do not. You do not.
Yeah, I feel like this is elder abuse going on right now. Why are you talking on Jerry?
He's talking. He didn't speak at the combine. He didn't have to talk yesterday. He put himself out there.
Come on, it's Jer. What did you?
I don't find him I don't find him like, I don't know, endearing. I think it's old. I think it's stale. And I think the facade is off, to be honest. Like, again, great businessman.
The facade was off in 2003.
I'm just saying, I think there's still this idea that he's just this really savvy business guy, that he's shadow running the league and all of that. Yeah. And I just don't think that's true anymore.
I think since the Manziel draft, I think there's other voices in that organization who are smart. I think Will McClay's, who runs their cap, is pretty smart. I don't know. I think they made some mistakes last offseason. I mean, you don't get 3, 12, and 5 seasons by being a complete idiot. I mean, there's way worse franchises.
But is that really the bar? Like, there's way worse. There's always going to be way worse franchises.
Yeah,
that's not where you want to be.
I just think, no, he's not outfoxing everybody. But I do think this idea that the Cowboys are like the Giants or some total, messed up franchise who's going to win 3 games every year.
Hey.
I mean, to be fair, though, the Giants have won 2 Super Bowls, well, a lot more recently than the Cowboys.
Yeah. But right now, the Cowboys are built in a much more...
Take that.
There are a lot of teams that are worse. And honestly, the Cowboys... over the last 10 years since Dak got there in 2000. You look how many playoff appearances they made, a lot more than other franchises. They're not the ultimate bottom feeder. Is that?
Congrats. Yeah. What do you want me to say to that? You're not the Jags.
But
cool.
Yeah, I mean, Jerry's 83 and he's saying he's 82. He's saying all these funny things out there. Yeah, I mean, I don't think this is the time to dunk on Jerry Jones. I think
this is exactly the time to dunk on.
Yeah, I just don't think that he's exactly running the show the way we think he is. I don't. Yeah, he's talking there. Like, does anyone take that seriously? That I've always gotten what I want. I mean, come on, really? He doesn't know the agent's name, really? You really think that this is what's happening here?
I don't know, Pearl. You're giving him the benefit of the doubt. I don't think he's earned it. 888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. Can you win like this? Can you work like this? Can anybody have success when the Cowboys are run in this way? You let us know. We've got plenty more for you, by the way, because thank you to the reporters who cover the LA Dodgers who are asking the important questions yesterday to Freddie Freeman. And what was that mishap that happened in the shower? Well, somebody got some answers for us, thankfully.
Journalism, baby.
That with a capital J. We'll get you all the details of that, and you're welcome to weigh in on the Cowboys. Again, 888-710-4ISN. Let's go.
Are you kidding me?
You're in a 5-minute break. 4 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. 1 minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. .30 seconds remaining. .15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back, Maggie and Perloff Show. I just made the strong argument that it could be worse for the Dallas Cowboys owner-wise. That was my ringing endorsement. I am looking at the gallery of weirdos that are the NFL owners. It's just coming off the NFL owners meeting. I mean, look at some of these names. This is crazy. You got, on one side, you got Mike Brown, who's cheaping out. You got David Tepper, who can't seem to do anything right. You got Jimmy Haslam. Well, we all know about that.
Yeah.
We got, I'm just going down the list.
Yeah, Jerry Jones is the leader of this circus.
You got Jim Irsay. You got, Shad Khan's his shining star. And you got Mark Davis and his
Woody
haircut.
Johnson is no picnic.
Woody Johnson.
And his kids.
I don't know his name.
Woody Johnson's kids going off Madden grades. You got Kroenke just being an enemy in several cities.
So this is supposed to make Cowboys fans feel better that
Yes.
ownership is right in the middle of that list of crazies?
Yeah, and you're right. You said it right. He's the ringleader of this group of
Totally.
eccentric billionaires who owns NFL teams. That's sort of what this group is.
Yeah, and I think also thinking that you're really good at one thing just because you're good at another, right? Jerry Jones being a great marketer, Jerry Jones being able to boost the valuation of the Dallas Cowboys into the stratosphere doesn't mean you're great negotiating with Micah Parsons. And clearly we've proven that over and over again.
But I'm going to go to the genesis of the story. The big headline is Jerry Jones says he doesn't know Micah Parsons' agent's name and is trying to bypass the agent. That's the smartest thing Jerry did, because he should not get in a room with David Mulugeta and negotiate this contract.
the pants off.
Yeah, I mean, we just said, that is, if we can avoid that, if the Dallas Cowboys can keep Jerry out of the room with that agent, that's the best thing that could happen to him, because that's a good agent. He does very well. No, I do think the whole thing is kind of weird. It's the Jerry charm, and to you, that charm is wearing off.
I think there's no charm left. It's unnecessary at this point, muddying the waters for no reason. We will get to those Freddie Freeman details in a moment, but first, Kevin is in Texas. Kevin, as a Cowboy fan, can your team ever win like this?
Well, first off, let me preface and say I was born a Dallas Cowboys fan, and that's all I've ever been, and that's all I'll ever be.
Okay.
But I've checked out, the past 3 to 5. Actually, ever since Dak got his second contract, I'm kind of done until he's gone, and probably until Jerry Jones retires. Now, let me say this: if you're gonna throw shade at Jerry Jones, you need to make a distinction at who you're throwing shade at. Are you throwing shade at Jerry Jones, the GM, or Jerry Jones, the owner? Because there's a difference. As a GM, Jerry Jones is terrible. Terrible. But as an owner, he's the best owner in the NFL, and you can't argue any. There's no comparison.
Yeah, how he's boosted.
The franchise is worth $10 billion.
And I think that's conservative. I mean, the Washington Commanders went for what, $6 billion, or the Broncos went for $6 billion. The Cowboys, it's astronomical.
So no, we can't. To answer your question, no, we can't win.
I disagree, Kevin. A lot of owners would have fired the GM in this situation. So I agree. I agree 100%. We cannot win. We're not going to win. We are not going to win until Jerry Jones is gone. And honest, like I said, I think he's a great owner. But honestly, I wish they would just sell the team and be done with it, because I just don't see him going anywhere. No, that is not happening.
And I don't have a lot of faith in Steven either. Kevin, thank you for the call. And that is funny. Terrible. I get it.
Yeah.
I don't think that Steven Jones, I don't know how much the apple falls far from the tree. He's a little bit different publicly, but everyone here has their hands in what's going on now. So how do you think Steven Jones, if he just gets his shots, it's 50-50 to me, whether he's a good owner or not.
Figure it out.
I mean, again, this is there are a lot of weird people owning NFL teams. Yeah. I think Steven, we've had reporting over the years that Steven has a cooler head than Jerry. We can buy that Steven might be more rational than Jerry. And also, again, as Matt Mosley told us a year ago, there's a guy, Will McClay, running the show,
right.
making the picks. I don't think Jerry's grinding tape of these draft prospects. So he's not your traditional GM. Or maybe he is. You think Jerry's in a room evaluating people? That's what a GM does. Is Jerry doing that?
I have always maintained I think they lie to Jerry and tell him that the draft starts on Friday. So they get through Thursday, get through that first round. They're like, all right, big dog, come on in.
You know who I like, too? I watched
the
documentary on the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders. The daughter is no joke.
Charlotte.
Oh, my God. She walks into a room and everybody's like, what can I do for you? She's got a lot of riz. I think she could be a really interesting owner as well. Although Steven obviously will be the predecessor.
Right.
Not the predecessor.
The successor.
The successor. That could be
patriarchy.
What if you had a Succession episode or show?
Let's
There's
see
a
that.
show on Netflix right now running point about how Jeannie took over the Lakers.
Yep. It's
the
Kate
Bus
Hudson
family.
playing
Yeah,
Jeannie
it's great
Buss.
how the Jeannie Buss kind of took it away from her brothers. What if Charlotte comes in and steals it from Steven? Who would not want to watch that show?
Unfortunately for Cowboys fans, this is your life.
It's not a show.
It's not. Well, it sometimes feels like a show. Get to some Freddie Freeman details in a moment. You guys know I got mildly obsessed with this story yesterday that Freeman had a mishap in the shower. Crystal Pressey.
That is awesome to hear.
Is in for Bogusch. I don't want to step on your update. I don't know if you were going to get to these details.
Well, I
this
saw
hour.
you guys were going to perhaps discuss it,
Yeah.
so I figured I would cover some other things for you. And we actually begin with a riddle, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
Let us
What do your
know.
home and auto have in common? Progressive protects them both. It was an easy riddle. Learn more at progressive.com. And just to build off of the
for meats and cheeses.
That's right, I am. Thank you for reminding me of that. I had forgotten that I'm a slut for meats and cheeses.
Yeah, I'm sure Progressive is thrilled with that.
And now we know. And then now we've got that covered.
Well, we want to know where you stand on everything, CeeLo.
I'm happy to tell you. Just fire away, and I'll tell you where I stand. To build off the Jerry Jones story in the audio you guys covered in the open, another slip of the tongue from the Cowboys owner as he discussed that Micah Parsons contract situation and trying to deal directly with the player rather than his agent.
To clarify, Jerry, when you say you've talked about every issue, do you mean you and Micah or you and Micah's agent?
No, me and Micah
Okay.
directly.
And have you spoken with
Like I
his
said,
agent about
Micah
this?
is one of 3 individuals that has my Super Bowl number. Has my cell phone number.
Nobody's got the Super Bowl number.
Who are the other two
Super Bowl's
individuals?
on his mind? I don't know.
That's
I wanted
Jory
to know
Epstein
that
who's
as well.
asking
Yeah.
the question. She comes on the show every now and again.
Jory was everywhere, by the way. She was right in there with Brian Callahan too. I keep seeing her on all the gaggles.
Yeah,
Let's
she's doing
guess
great.
the other 2 people who have Jerry Jones's bad phone.
But did you guys see the details of Jerry? Jerry had Micah. They watched the national title game together and they watched the Super Bowl together. So are they best friends now?
I guess if he's one of 3 people that's got his cell phone number.
Jerry let Micah and all his friends into some Super Bowl box. I don't understand what's happening here. This seems all it's one of the strangest negotiations I've ever
If
heard.
somebody's withholding $200 million from me, I will make sure that person's my best friend.
Yeah. Hey, pal.
Hey man, what's up? Can I hang out with you?
What's up this weekend?
Hey, what you doing today?
Yeah, no, Jerry's paying up for Micah because they're and Micah is. Those are 2 personalities right there. Can you picture them trying to? Micah will not stop talking ever, and Jerry probably. I would love
They're
to be
just
in the
talking
box.
over each other.
Oh, I'd love to be in the box with those guys.
And to your point about him not ever stopping from talking, Micah, that is, he, of course, volleyed back on Twitter X when all this came out about Jones not knowing the agent's name. And he said that, David, his agent, is the best. There'll be no back doors in the contract situation. So as much as he and Jerry may be buddy, he was defending his agent out there publicly yesterday. Rule changes passed for next season. The ball comes out to the 35-yard line now on touchbacks. That's up from the 30, and each team will get a possession in overtime, just like in the playoffs, except they're sticking with the 10-minute OT period in the regular season rather than the full 15. As far as the tush push goes, the proposal to ban the play tabled until the spring meeting, which will be in late May. Reportedly had 16 teams that were in favor of it. You need 24 to make a change, so they kicked that down the road a little bit.
Yeah, I think that's funny because, it didn't pass. It's weird they tabled it. It also just failed.
Well, they didn't vote on it.
Oh, they didn't.
So they discussed it.
They discussed and
Yeah.
16
got 16
people.
teams. They figured, let's see if we can recruit 8 more, and then we'll vote in the spring.
Yeah,
They didn't have the votes.
Yeah, right. So, the NFL wants this away. And
Oh, yeah.
If
they're
you listen to
just-
Goodell yesterday,
Yeah.
it sounds like they definitely
Yeah,
want it gone.
they definitely. So they got to sway 8 out of 16.
8 more.
Something tells
teams,
me
yeah.
they're going to be able to do that.
I don't
Because
know. I think there's a lot of reporting that they're not sure they're going to be able to get it done.
I just think that Goodell goes and asks for favors, offers favors to people to sway their votes, like politics, like Congress,
Yeah,
I
I'm
love
sure
that.
there's a lot of that that goes
the
on.
government runs like a professional sports league,
Well,
or vice versa. Whatever you
TBD.
look at it.
I don't know.
Latest on the Aaron Rodgers watch. Even the Steelers aren't entirely sure where he stands, though owner and president Art Rooney II encouraged by the recent footage of Rodgers working out with DK Metcalf.
I would say it was a good sign that he wanted to do that, and we keep hearing that he's I guess headed in our direction, and so that seems to be all signs are positive so far.
He said they won't wait forever for Rodgers to make up his mind, but they're content to wait at least a little bit longer.
Okay, so I know Perloff's got a theory about this, and it's a good theory that he's waiting to do this big reveal on the
Not my
McAfee
theory.
show.
Mike Florio started it, right. A lot of people have that theory.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so can I offer a counter theory?
Yeah, hit us.
That he wants to wait till after the draft.
My dog.
So the McAfee live show is next week. Have the Steelers told Rodgers, with all this flirting and all this footsie and everything, have they told him, we can't guarantee we're not going to draft a quarterback at 21 if somebody's there that we like. And he's like, you know what? I'm not signing up for that. Now, he seemed cool to do it with Zach Wilson when he was here with the Jets. He said, I'll be his mentor and all of that. But maybe he doesn't want what happened to Kirk Cousins to happen to him.
That's perfect. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. They have their first practice April 21st, and the draft's the 27th. And they're going to need a lot of time to get Rodgers into the offense. I think it feels to me like a long time to wait. Don't you feel
after
like,
the draft?
No, to wait till the end of April, that'd be about a month from now. I can't imagine. Rodgers, won't he get antsy? Won't the team get antsy?
Dude,
I mean, the Giants got
guy
antsy.
who's in outer space half the time.
Yeah.
Like antsy, I don't think he's on that plane.
Well, I think the Giants were waiting for Rodgers, and they just got antsy and said, you know what, let's just sign Russ. Unless
I think they got back channeled too. That was like he went to the facility in Pittsburgh, like hung out there, asked to hang out. They probably said, do you want to come to the Giants facility? And he said, I'm good.
I thought he might have visited with the Giants.
I don't know if he was in their facility. We would have heard about that.
I don't think he did.
Yeah, I think he talked to the Giants, though. But, I think that's a long time. I mean, don't you think Steelers fans are going to be really anxious if he doesn't sign until April 30th?
Steelers fans should be anxious no matter what. Your quarterback situation sucks right now.
Yeah, we'll see. If they open their practice on April 21st with just Mason Rudolph, I think that's very interesting in the sense that they might just decide to move on. If they have to wait a month. I mean, this is the same with Kirk Cousins and the Browns, too. I just think it's a long time. Maybe I'm impatient.
Yeah.
And he's already thrown to DK Metcalf. Come on. It's happening, right?
Feels that way.
Does anyone here not think Aaron Rodgers is going to be a Steeler?
No, I think he's going to.
Yeah. Just a matter of when, right? Wild night in the NBA, 61-point triple-double from Nikola Jokic was not enough for the Nuggets, and we pick up the action with Nuggets radio in double overtime. Denver up by 1 following a Jokic-made free throw.
Conley looks in, throws it off in the corner over to Edwards, guarded by Gordon, gets double team, throws it away! Westbrook steal! Christian Westbrook, layup no good! 9 seconds to go! How do you miss that? In the front court, Conley, over to Edwards, 4 seconds to go for the winner! Missed it into hard! Walker! They called the foul on Westbrook!
A lot going on there in that sequence. Lot to digest, and it ends with that.
Can you imagine being behind your wheel and just listening to all of that happen?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Crash the car into the Rocky Mountains is what you do.
Right into the Rockies.
Oh, man. So they get Westbrook for the foul with 1/10 of a second remaining.
Sorry,
the
Chris
T-Wolves made 2 of those 3 free throws and escaped Denver with a 140-139 double OT victory. Anthony Edwards, 34 points, 10 rebounds, 8 assists, but he was in awe of the performance by Jokic in his own way, of course.
That might have been the best game of my life, that I've been a part of. Nikola Jokic, bro. Oh my God, he might be the best basketball player I've ever seen, close up. Besides myself, to myself. Bro, he's incredible, bro.
Quick, got to get the besides myself to myself. You know.
Well, the irrational confidence is everything. Can you?
I need to go home.
What do you even say if you're like Westbrook? Do you think you say anything like, you had this incredible night and we lost?
I mean,
no.
Who is it here who said that the Nuggets no team would ever win a title with Russell Westbrook on the roster?
Ding, ding, ding.
I mean, honestly, I think the NBA is
he
psyched
did
that
as
he's there because he gives the Lakers a shot in the West. He is a one-man game changer. He evens the field. Thank God for him for the rest of the West. And this is just, wait till the playoffs when his guy is 10 feet off of him and he's just going to be throwing brick after brick.
Yeah, but that wasn't true.
Why does he miss so many layups? I don't understand.
He's going 1,000 miles an hour.
Nuggets radio wondering the same thing.
He just misses so many damn layups.
He's out of control. That's why he's just running to the basket at 1,000.
But that wasn't that wasn't even an out of control play. It was a fast break. He just gets the ball on a pass. There was no reason to miss that layup.
Guys, he was an MVP. Whether you think he should have been or not, he's been in the league for over a decade. You got to make that layup.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. What are we talking about with this guy?
And then the foul at the end, and you got to be smarter than that.
Yeah.
It's it's the physical part of missing the layup, and it's the mental part.
This is typical Russell Westbrook.
This one seemed particularly bad.
Good night for Steph Curry, 52 points, including 12 threes to go along with 10 boards, 8 assists, and 5 steals. Yeah, good would be an understatement, Manny. You're right about that. As his Warriors win at Memphis, 134-125. Quickly notable from baseball, Dodgers won again, 3-1 over the Braves behind Dustin May's return to the mound. First time in more than 22 months. L.A. is now 7-0. tying the 1933 Yankees for the best start to a season for
was a
a
good year.
reigning World Series champion. Yeah, you're going back to Ruth and Gehrig there. The flip side to that game, of course, is the Braves lose again, and they are now 0-6 to begin the year. Not ideal start for Atlanta.
All right. CeeLo, fantastic job. But what happened to Freddie Freeman? Yeah, the Dodgers are off to this historic
I want to
tear.
know, too.
Oh, you want the details?
Yeah.
Well, somebody was doing some journalism outside of me because I gave that up to sit here with you guys.
Who said journalism's dead?
Yeah, it's alive and well. So we found out the details.
So sorry, Edward Murrow, that you had to dumb it down for us.
When you lose Maggie Gray from the journalism pool, I mean, what's left?
You used to wear a fedora around and
Just putting out a pack of cigarettes a day, just chasing the leads.
Murrow, Gray, Cronkite.
Run into those phone booths to break the news.
Whole day one.
Yeah.
Manny, you got to find what Bill Walton at the Final Four. What did he say to us?
Oh,
He's like, in the tradition of Edward Murrow, it
Babe
is
Paley.
Maggie and Perloff on CBS picking up where Walter Cronkite left off.
Yeah, he did. He's like, because we were still CBS Sports Radio at the time.
So he assumed we were basically the same thing as Walter Cronkite.
As only Bill Walton could. And then he kept going, and then the interview was over.
He's like, yes, the great chairs at 60 Minutes have then evolved into this show. And then we asked one question, and that's all we got in. And then he talked for 9 minutes, and I'm not sure what it was about. It was awesome.
It was great. That was one of the highlights of the show. But
Freddie
Freeman.
Yeah.
Right. So a mishap in the shower. CeeLo, yesterday, no one else on the show had any questions. No one had a follow-up. They're just like,
They
what?
just took it. Yeah, whatever.
Okay. Well, here's the mishap. It was a slip.
Mm-hmm.
It turns out that the master bath at the Freeman house is being renovated right now.
Okay.
So Freddie was forced to go to the guest bathroom.
Okay.
The indignity. Apparently, the guest bathroom and the shower is very different from the master, and he ended up tripping and falling all because of the guest bathroom.
Ooh, so there is some backstory here.
So we did get some details. Something's going on. I don't know if like the guest bathroom is like a wall you got to climb over to get in the shower or something, but it's different from the master.
So he's a klutz.
This, or maybe he just wasn't paying attention. He wasn't used to the dimensions.
So whose theory yesterday?
It's his house.
Whose theory yesterday was
It's like sitting in the back
closest,
seat of your own car, though. Do you ever do that? And you're like, what is this?
Yeah.
Oh, yes, I have.
Or
It's
even the
odd back
passenger
there.
seat, because I refuse to do anything but drive. So if I sit in the passenger seat, it's like being in another country.
I have sat in the back seat of my car. Wink,
It's
wink.
weird. Oh, wow. Look at you, Manny.
No.
Not while it was moving, though.
No, as a passenger. What do you mean?
You get the first or second base.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, God.
So Bogusch and I said he slipped, and I think we were right. EJ, I loved the series, said there might have been horseplay going on. And
Yeah,
we
but
couldn't-
apparently all the action's happening in the back of Manny's car.
Horseplay, though, I mean, that could cover a lot of the
We
lot
could,
of things.
but he kind of implied that he was having a catch with his kid. I don't know what he was doing, throwing a ball.
Excuse me now?
It did
No,
sound
no.
like.
In the shower.
That's what he meant by horseplay?
No, EJ meant he was in there with Mrs. Freeman.
Yeah, come
Oh,
on
I
now.
thought you meant like playing around, like I don't know.
What? Easy now. Horseplay in the shower playing with his kids. Let's be careful now.
When I think of horseplay, hey, stop that horseplay. We would throw basketballs around the house when we
Yeah,
were kids.
he was doing a euphemism.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
I was
you were
trying
talking about adult horseplay?
Yeah.
Oh, my bad.
Wow.
My bad.
Well, you think they're rustling?
I mean, it's probably like, what? Is it the third most common place?
The shower?
Yeah.
Ooh,
I didn't
probably.
know there was a ranking.
What's number 2?
Power ranking coming up next.
I'm
Man-
just
Manny's
thinking
car?
Back chair. Back.
Yeah, back of Manny's Honda.
I would think shower ahead of
Toyota.
car.
Shower had a car.
Yeah. Well, what's number 2 then?
Ooh.
You said
I
it's
was
number
going to
3.
say, like, I put number 1,
Bed,
bedroom.
sure.
Right? This sounds like the, what's the Steve Harvey?
Number 2,
Family
kitchen.
Family Feud.
Yeah.
Kitchen.
Whereas Burger King bathroom is high on the list.
For Humpty.
Yankee Stadium bathroom.
Yuck.
No. It's toilet stall at the Eagles game.
Ugh.
At the vet.
I think
Yeah.
cars.
It's
too.
not most romantic for a lot.
Yeah, car would probably be 2.
I don't
Yeah.
think it's cars,
Cars
too. I
too?
think
Wow.
Yeah.
I think bedroom has got to be 100 people surveyed. Bedroom 1, I think it may be like couch or something too.
Here's why I think cars too is because you got to take the people. Maybe I'm getting too into this. The people who live with their parents,
All
right.
who
Gotta
are
sneak away.
younger people.
Yeah.
Where are you going? You're not buying a hotel. You don't got no money.
Yeah,
Or people are, doing something they're not supposed to be doing, so they got to
but-
escape to the
but
car.
young
Hotel,
people, young
dorm
people,
room.
Yeah.
young people
Yeah.
have cars at least. A lot
That's
of people drive even at as young as 16.
All
so
right.
Also, too, I mean, the shower thing, I would think that gets old at a certain point because, like, who doesn't enjoy a good shower alone? Like, you don't need if you have the bed there. I'm just saying. I think
Bro,
the
it's all about
shower
the
thing,
logistics.
are you really is that sustainable? I mean, come on.
There's a lot more we could say about this, but we got to go to break. 888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. Good morning, everybody. Full service show. Okay, lots more sports.
Full
Get
service.
back to the sports. I know a story that we are all very interested in. Came out of the owners' meetings yesterday. The biggest change we could see in the upcoming NFL season. We'll tell you next.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. 30 seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
The foundational background that has given me the life that I have, and now to be on your show. Wow. I'm the luckiest guy in the world. Maggie and Andrew, CBS Sports Radio. Yeah, where dreams become reality, where we come to grow, and where the deal goes down. Thank you, Greg Gumbel. Thank you, Bill Paley. Thank you, Edward R. Murrow. Yeah.
It's gonna be a good day with Maggie and Perloff.
Oh, thank you guys. That just put a huge, gigantic grin on both of our faces.
I know. Wow, great guy who sadly passed this year. Yeah.
This was us interviewing Bill Walton, who unfortunately has passed away as well. That was in Houston for the Final Four a couple years ago. And yes, when Bill Walton put Perloff and I with Edward R. Murrow, Babe Paley, and Greg Gumbel, suddenly we were swimming in some pretty deep water there.
Yeah, he was. I couldn't. It was the full Bill Walton experience.
He was great. He really was very, very personable. That was very fun. Thank you guys. Okay, let's get to this because I know Perloff's dying to talk about it because everyone in Philadelphia was holding their breath with the whole tush push vote. It didn't end up happening. The vote didn't happen. It got tabled until the fall. But tell us, how on pins and needles is everyone in Eagle Land?
I don't think it's funny. I don't think they're scared that they're going to take it away in the sense that we all know Jalen Hurts can just get the sneaks anyway.
Yeah.
This has become a bigger cause. This has become a sort of, it's one of those issues where it's a defining issue. How do you feel about the tush push? Says a lot about you as a football fan. Apparently, I've heard the multiple reports that every coach was arguing about it, not just in the meeting, but after the meeting. They had a half hour to talk about it, and they blew right past it. So it feels like a defining thing. Basically, the issue is if you come up with an innovative play, is it okay to just change the rules to stop it? That is, and I think a lot of people are like, that's football. You should be encouraging innovation. And a lot of people thought it was soft that they even tried to get rid of it.
Okay, I get that aspect of it, but let's not pretend like these NFL rules are written in stone. They changed this to be able to push and pull players into the end zone and push and pull players in general, right? Ball carriers back in 2003. So we lived a lot of our lives with not being able to push people. So
well, are you willing to get rid of that?
Well, that's the big thing now. It's like if you're going to get rid of the tush push, you don't just get rid of that play. You have to basically get rid of all pushing and pulling.
Well, the Packers tried to write a rule that they just – I actually don't have the wording in front of me – that they just got rid of the tush push and you were still allowed to push runners. So – and the rule was incomplete. I think that's part of the excuse for tabling it.
Yeah.
I think that's a real danger here. And the problem with that rule is I read that it's very hard to call downfield. Very hard to call the what's a push, what's a pull.
Well, now with replay assist, though, everything should – there's nothing that should be impossible to call anymore because there's eye in the sky.
No. But these are all judgment calls. Like what constitutes enough push to get the flag? There's no replay assist help. They're in a pile. You can see this game. Everybody's all mashed together. I think you're asking for a massive headache with this rule. I think the officials are like, wait a second. And what's a tush push? Like, what if Josh Allen does this thing where he scrambles around for 3 yards and he's right by the first down and then somebody comes and pushes him? Is that okay?
Well, if you're going to get rid of all pushing, then it's not okay, and you would get flagged for it. I don't think it's that hard to officiate. I try to be sympathetic to the officials, but we all kind of know, like when a running back is in this big, everyone stood up at this scrum at the goal line and everything just gets pushed and they don't blow the whistle until he gets to the end zone. I think we all see what that is.
Oh, are you kidding me? Oh, there's so much fighting over when the whistle blew and when do you blow the whistle when the running back's standing there? When is forward progress up? That's always been a hard rule to officiate.
See, I don't think the tush push is the reason why the Philadelphia Eagles won the Super Bowl. I don't.
No.
But I wonder if people in Philly are very nervous because it's kind of like your secret sauce. You're saying everyone else in the league is soft. I think this is coming from a place of fear from Eagles fans.
Not at all. Not even a little bit. Because what do you think Jalen Hurts is going to do? I think we all know Jalen Hurts is still going to convert 85%. That's about the league average.
So why do you care what the rule if the rule gets changed? If
Because
he can QB sneak, what does it matter?
It's a 5% difference. I think a lot of Eagles fans were slightly disappointed. I'll be honest. They really, like me, wanted to say, "Aha, you're afraid of us." They kind of need some juice to repeat here. We need a chip on the shoulder.
Well, that's Nick Sirianni's job, right? 888-710-4ISN.
Dad, we finally found a job for Nick Sirianni.
Thank you, Greg Gumbel. Thank you, Bill Paley. Thank you, Edward R. Murrow. Yeah.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. 30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
Well, if we're starting to play the blame game, Brock Purdy, right in the middle of things. Welcome to the show, Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. We've talked a lot about Brock Purdy and the 49ers and when is this contract actually going to get signed, and everyone's talking very positively. John Lynch, even Jed York, the owner yesterday, everyone says that they want to get this done, but do they have to get it done this offseason? But, you know, when is Brock going to come to the table? I thought that was the biggest revelation from yesterday with the owner of the San Francisco 49ers, Pearl, because I think on the outside, we were led to believe that this is being hung up. We weren't sure why the negotiation was being hung up, actually, that it could have been both sides, right?
Well, I thought it was kind of a lack of deadline, right? There's no, as our friend Andrew Brandt, the NFL insider business guy, said, you need a deadline. Otherwise, because both guys are going to hold out for best deal, right?
Right.
Now, there's no deadline anytime soon.
Sure, but I don't think they want this to bleed into the offseason program, which starts in a couple weeks. I mean, the draft is going to be here, and then we're going to be right into OTAs, and we're going to be right into team building exercises, and you certainly don't want a situation hanging over your head with that. Jed York said yesterday, when Brock's ready to come to the table, we're ready to negotiate. This is the first time we've ever seen somebody publicly assign blame to the other side. Like, Jed York is saying, we're here, we're open, and Brock's people have to have more, have to get on board. That is not how I think anyone believed this negotiation was going. I think the common thought is that Brock is itching to get this done, and that maybe it's the 49ers who could be dragging their feet, because we've had evidence that the 49ers have waited very long to get some of these deals done. Nick Bosa's deal went very, very close to the season. Obviously, the Brandon Ayuk thing went back and forth for way, way, way too long, although we know Ayuk took some blame for that. I guess it's Brock.
But yeah, I mean, it is both teams are real. Both sides are realistic. You can't really sign anybody. I don't think these deals, the quarterback deals, don't happen this early. That'd be unusual.
But
yeah.
I don't understand why there has to be like a certain way, that a rhythm that this has to go.
Well,
Joe Burrow didn't get signed until really, really late.
Yeah.
I think we criticize the Bengals for that. I mean, Josh Allen just got his extension. Like, you can do them at any time.
I think the team they think they'll get a better deal if they wait, because they'll have more leverage over Brock. Brock will eventually get antsy and take the money. Brock has no money in his bank account.
Yeah.
I think that the Niners are saying to themselves, we can get a better deal here if we sort of put our foot on Brock's financial neck here. Don't you think that they know they have leverage right now and they're sort of exercising it?
So let's hear a little from Jed York, because to your point, you just brought this up, so I want to play the sound for everybody about how little Brock Purdy is making. Here's what the owner of the 49ers said yesterday about how many more college quarterbacks, through NIL, are making more than Brock.
I mean, last year, I think he was like the 30th highest paid college quarterback, right? Mm-hmm. So when guys with NIL are making more than a third-year NFL pro, like there's something wrong with the system with not being able to extend guys earlier in the NFL.
So this is Jed York saying, why does it have to be 3 years, and then you extend them? But my question to Jed York on this is, would it have made a difference?
I don't know. A lot of GMs are like, Jed, what are you saying?
Yeah.
What side are you on, buddy?
Yeah. It's a weird thing to say. And also, I just don't believe that, because having the cheap quarterback is seen as such an advantage for team building.
Yeah.
I just don't understand. If you could have paid Brock Purdy after a second start when he took over from Jimmy Garoppolo, you wouldn't have done it. And you wouldn't have done it after the NFC Championship game where his elbow basically got ripped off the bone. And you wouldn't have probably done it after the next year either. So I don't know why he said that.
Owners and GMs, I thought, hated the old world where you paid Jamarcus Russell $50 million. I thought they were thrilled.
Sam Bradford.
Yeah, basically the elder people in the union screwed the rookies with the way the CBA's set up. I think a lot of veterans suppress the pay of the young players. So I don't know what he's saying there. But see, I think Jed York knows what I know, that Brock Purdy has no choice but to take less money here. I think they're going to play hardball here, right? Like, what is Brock Purdy going to do? He can't hold out. There was a report that he wants Dak Prescott money. Why would they do that? Because Brock Purdy has to take the $50 million deal, the slightly lesser deal.
So this seems to me like Jed York clearly applying pressure to Brock Purdy and his people, because we had never heard before that Brock's the one holding it up. And he definitely put that out there yesterday. When Brock's ready, we're here. Like, the contract's just sitting there like a big, fat, juicy steak.
Yeah.
And all he has to do is sidle up to the table and get his fork and knife and start chowing down. Now, here's another way you apply pressure.
That was a bit weird, but okay.
Yeah, it's the theater of the mind. It's a medium rare, juicy tomahawk.
Okay.
All righty.
Here's more from Jed York. This is how you apply soft pressure to someone who you want to do what you want to do. I'll hear cut 7, please, Manny. Jed York on all the sacrifices that the team has had to make because of Brock.
Yeah, I mean, we knew that we had to make sacrifices around the roster to make sure that you can pay a quarterback, right? Like, it's just math. And I've been in situations where you have a great roster and the quarterback isn't set, and it's hard to have sustained success. We want to make sure that Brock is a long-term partner. We want to make sure that he's a part of our team for a long time.
That's a message. Hey, everyone else on the roster. If you're dissatisfied, or you're wondering where your bag is, or you're wondering why we had to let this guy go or that guy go or turn the roster over, look at Brock. And this is the kind of thing that comes from changing your story. You know, Brock's an all-time great story. He will continue to be an all-time great story, right up there with like Brady and just, you know, he hasn't done as much as Brady yet, but these, you know, Mr. Irrelevant to franchise quarterback, we will always root for that. But now it's different. Now you're the guy who's making all the money. Now we can't sign Dre Greenlaw because we had to sign you, or whatever he's implying there. Now the pressure changes, and they're going to put this all on Brock. Again, this is, I'm assuming what you're saying, to try to negotiate and to get him at the number they want, not the number that Brock wants.
Yeah, I think they came in at $45 million and said, please do this deal. And it's a negotiation. And Brock came in closer to 60. And I don't think, but you just imply that they're sending a message to the rest of the team, blame Brock if things don't work out. I don't think that's a little over dramatic.
Well, I'm saying they're setting up Brock to be like, hey, if things don't work out, well, somebody needed $55 million. You know?
Yeah,
like,
I
don't know if the players will see it that way, but I think that's what they're doing here. I think they're applying pressure.
Well, I mean, do players get mad in Dallas at Dak Prescott because I don't think there's any antipathy towards Dak Prescott because he has a giant contract in Dallas. I can't see players turning on Brock. They all want every other player to get paid as much as possible. That's just the game. Players do not resent other contracts because that means more money for them too. But the guys also the Niners got rid of, I thought Jed York was being a little disingenuous there. They got rid of a bunch of old, expensive, injured guys, and they clearly want to reset their cap situation. Like, they're like, we're getting old and injury prone is all get out. We got to do something here. It's not just about Brock. So, I mean, look at the guys they got rid of. Every single one of them was injured last year. Almost every. There were a couple guys, and the ones that weren't injured were ineffective. So, yeah, I'm not quite sure what Jed's saying there, but he's trying to tell the fan base, I know this was a tough offseason. I know that we've lost a lot of guys, but there is a logic behind it.
I think he's also trying to tell them, hey, if things don't go well this year, and especially if Brock doesn't play like a franchise quarterback, well, sorry, we had to pay him. And they may be setting him up to be a little bit scapegoated here if they have another bad season. Because here's the thing about the 49ers. Like, I think they're going to be better this year, but they still are relying on a lot of guys who have these injury histories. You're still relying on McCaffrey and Kittle and Trent Williams. Like, these guys aren't going to magically get better. And, you know, you still have a lot of eggs in that basket of guys who have, you know, injury concerns. and age concerns.
Yeah, I mean, but they did get rid of a lot of the injury guys, about half of them. I mean, Dre Greenlaw, it's the one they wanted to keep. But did you see the report? They flew to his house, and they were all over Dre Greenlaw. But come on, Hufunga's not staying healthy. Debo is hard. Debo looks like he's falling apart. He looks more injury than any of them.
Yeah, we'll see what his season's like in D.C. We don't know.
Yeah, I think Debo is clearly too old. Jordan Mason hasn't stayed healthy, and they have a million running backs. I just don't see the move that's really killing him. I think they want to make these moves anyway. I don't think it's just about except for Dre Greenlaw, I think they want to get rid of these people. I think Saleh came in, Robert Saleh, the new defensive coordinator, former Jets head coach, did not like what he saw on tape from a lot of these defender guys and wanted to get rid of them too. I think it's a reset. Remember what happened last year? Last time they lost to the Chiefs in 2019. They had an injury-prone season. Then they came back at 10-7 and were killers in the playoffs because their defense was amazing. I think they want to get back to that. I think the last couple of years they've lost their identity.
Listen, it's fine to want a great defense. I'm never going to argue with that. But at the same time, you are going to be paying Brock Purdy his top 5 quarterback money.
Yeah.
So,
but you do have Nick Bosa and Fred Warner as I think you can, if you're a Niner fan, you can hope to have a great defense. If you could just get your draft game going, I think you could really be good there.
888-710-4ISN. 49er fans, were you surprised that Jed York put this on Purdy publicly? When he's ready, we're here. Whenever Purdy wants to sidle up to the table and sign the massive contract, we're here. He kind of really put the ball in his court. Again, 888-710-4ISN. Kevin is in California, wants to talk about Perloff's beloved Tush Push. What's up, Kev?
Hey, what's up, guys? Great show in the morning. Love it. Keep me awake on the way to work. First of all, not surprised about the Niners situation. There's a bunch of drama in the city. They like to stir things up, and I agree with Perloff that there's no animosity when it comes to the contracts. As long as your players are playing hard, I think the teammates are good with your contracts and paying the people. But the minute you start slacking off, I think that's when controversy happens.
Yeah, fair.
But as far as the Tush Push, I'm not a fan of it. I think it's a pretty ugly play in football, and I don't understand all the controversy about it. Like, I feel like it's an easy decision. I want to get your guys' thoughts on it. Why can't they just stay within 3 yards? There's no assisting pushing the ball carrier or between the tackles. So I won't keep you long. I just want to get your thoughts on that.
Yeah, Kevin, thanks for the call, dude.
I don't understand why they don't. Why do they just say you have to be 4 feet behind the quarterback? Why wouldn't that solve the whole thing?
You have to be 4 feet behind the quarterback.
Yeah, you can't have a running back can't line up 1 foot behind just change the rules on where they line up.
Well, then you kind of have like a 4-yard running start for the push, right? So you're saying in this way you could still push a guy. You just have to get a running start first? That would make it more dangerous, no?
No, I don't think you could get to the scrum in time to affect the play. If you're 4 yards behind, actually, there's probably an X to no reason that you can't do this. There's probably some other play that you need. But no, I think if you're in a traditional, you can't do the tush push if you're lined up as a normal running back. Because you have no time. You got to go hike and you got to go.
Right.
Yeah. The whole thing with the tush push, when you watch the Eagles do it, it's a scrum. Everyone's right on top of each other. So I was wondering, why don't they change the pre-play alignment? There's a lot of rules about where people are allowed to line up. But that's the big problem here. They can't figure out how to write the rule. There's no way to do it without screwing up something else. And the NFL is the king of unintended consequences.
They are. A lot of leagues are.
Yeah, a lot of leagues are.
How about you can't do it in the red zone? Do you start with that so it doesn't?
Makes no sense.
Well, I'm just saying, if you maybe we don't like it because it seems like when Jalen Hurts, anytime you're in the 5-yard line, it's like an automatic. So maybe that would satisfy some people.
What I'm trying to think. Are there any rules that are different for the red zone? And is the red zone an official thing?
Well, yeah. Red zone inside the 20.
Is there a single rule that's changed?
Give me a second. 888-710-4ISN. I'm trying to think if there's any rules that are different. I mean, listen, they mess with rules all the time.
Yeah.
Now you can't do an onside kick unless you're trailing in the fourth quarter. You have to declare it. We mess with the rules constantly. There's nothing sacred here.
No, I mean, look at the kickoff. I still don't understand. And they changed the kickoff again. They are
touchbacks now to the 35.
They're aggressive.
They want a play happening on kickoffs.
Yeah.
Get it straight, special teams.
Yeah, that's why Europeans watch a game. They're like, "What is this rule book? It makes no sense whatsoever."
It's like us watching cricket. I'm just like, I think I know.
Figure it out.
I'm
A
not sure.
friend sat down and explained cricket to me. It's not that complicated. The NFL is way more complicated, and more people like cricket than the NFL.
by 20 billion, I'm sure. Let's get to the movie sequels bracket. All right, we got some results for you from yesterday. I'm sad. We'll get to me in a second.
So am I.
The Hoth region, number 1 overall seed. Again, not even close here. These games are blowouts. Star Wars Empire Strikes again.
Arisian, take the princess and the Wookiee to my ship.
You said they'd be left in the city under my supervision.
I am altering the deal. Pray I don't alter it any further.
I mean, just whitewashed the 4 seed Spider-Man 2 in the Maggie Perloff movie sequels bracket, 84% to 16%.
Well, Tobey Maguire, not a great actor. Am I right, Maggie?
Yeah,
I mean, I'll die on that hill.
He's no Topher Grace.
That was also a landslide poll from yesterday. The 3 seed Batman Returns, a slightly more narrow victory, but they move on over Aliens.
I just couldn't live with myself, so don't pretend this is a happy ending.
Selena Kyle, you're fired.
And Bruce Wayne, why are you dressed up like Batman?
Because he is Batman, you moron.
Is that a Trump you're fired?
I wonder if Trump took it from them.
Did that come up around The Apprentice?
Well, no, Batman Returns is like 93. Long before The Apprentice.
Jeez. Oh.
Maybe a little bit of a ripoff there. I don't know. Who said it first?
I'm going Christopher Walken.
Probably. Okay, let's move on to the LA region. Maggie and Perloff movie sequel bracket. Another just thorough beatdown. Terminator 2 takes out the 12th seed Minions: The Rise of Gru.
Shut your eyes.
Stay here. I'll be back.
I would pay to see Liquid Terminator go against the Minions. There are a lot of Minions. That would be a battle royale.
Is that a good poll question? Who wins, Liquid Terminator or all the Minions?
Yeah. I actually vote Minions. I don't know. They figure it out, those little guys.
They are diabolical.
Your EP, very happy to see the Minions go, by the way.
EJ, not a
Get these guys
fan.
out of here.
Yeah.
Oh,
They're
you don't
funny,
like
though.
the Minions?
I don't like them, but they should not have been in Sweet 16. I'm sorry. Some of the movies they beat, it's just ridiculous.
They're like 4 of the top 10 grossing movies of all time. Those movies do huge box office.
I'm just no. It should not have been this far.
Well,
It's 12
Terminator
seed.
2 took them out.
Right.
Their ride ends. And unfortunately, our other Cinderella is going home, and that would be the Naked Gun 2.5, who fell in a narrow fight, a hard-fought victory, a hard-fought defeat, rather. Naked Gun 2.5, The Smell of Fear, exits the tournament. Die Hard 2 moves on.
Say, I close in about an hour. Maybe we can go get a drink?
Just the facts, man. Just the facts.
And there you have it. So Star Wars Empire Strikes Back and Batman Returns will meet in the Elite Eight, and then Terminator 2 and Die Hard 2. And we'll have more for you later in the show.
Yeah, I mean, wow. Looks like Terminator 2 and Empire Strikes Back are on a collision course.
This is like, feels like our own the men's bracket with all these 1 seeds.
Yeah, it's going to be, you could easily have 4 number 1s. The first time in a movie sequel bracket since 2008 that's happened.
Also went down in San Antonio. Can you believe that?
I can't believe it.
Yeah, this is the real Duke Houston of this side. So that's really exciting. And then, because we've been talking about movies and movie sequels, can't help but notice some of the connections here with the sad news from overnight, Perloff, that Val Kilmer passed away at 65. So a couple connections, obviously. Val Kilmer was a Batman in a sequel. He played Batman in between Michael Keaton and George Clooney, the Batman with Jim Carrey, Tommy Lee Jones. But that wasn't what he's really remembered
He was pretty
for.
good. He was fine as Batman.
He was brooding.
Yeah.
He had it all.
He was cool.
I love Val Kilmer. Val Kilmer came along at a time for me in the early 90s when I started watching movies that weren't just animated films and like kids movies. So some of the like formative movies that I saw in my life had Val Kilmer in them. I mean, talking about The Doors, I didn't know a movie like True Romance could exist until I saw that movie. And he plays like the Elvis kind of mentor to Christian Slater in that movie. just Heat. I mean, we could go through his whole IMDb, but for me, in a specific time in my life when my world opened up to movies that weren't just rated PG, Val Kilmer was like one of the biggest stars ever.
So I'm trying to think of his connections. He has a sort of cameo in the last Top Gun, which was incredible because he lost his voice.
Yeah.
I believe, was it cancer?
Yeah.
Anyway, there's a great documentary about him. Is he connected to any other of these sequels? This guy was in a lot of movies.
So his first big break was in a movie called Top Secret,
Yeah.
and that movie was directed by the same guy who directed Naked Gun 2.5.
Yeah,
I guess silly movie.
I quote that to my kids all the time. I know a little German. He's right over there.
And Top Gun Maverick, obviously, is still alive
Yeah.
in this tournament, and he's Iceman. And he will always be Iceman.
Yeah. There's got to be another movie that's in here. Why he's a cameo in MacGruber. Did that make our list?
No, that will be next time. But man, what a star too. And like I don't know. He was a guy who was kind of known for being, I guess, kind of mercurial, on like a little bit of a moody kind of actor also, but it didn't like impact his career at all.
Oh yeah, he was great.
We didn't know as much, I don't think, about movie stars back then. It was way more at arm's length. They were way more mystique.
Well, we knew a little about him because he got too into the Jim Morrison character, everyone said, and he sort of became Jim Morrison. That was 1991, which is amazing. He's total method in that sense, and he looked like Jim Morrison.
I know.
When I picture Jim Morrison, sometimes I picture Val Kilmer.
Definitely. And Top Gun came out 1986.
Yeah.
So I don't remember that the first time around because I was born in the 80s. But after seeing it, like a character like Val Kilmer for a young girl like me, like you watch him shirtless in that beach volleyball scene, like that made me want to brush my hair before I go to school.
I'm curious here. So you're gonna power rank him ahead of Tom Cruise?
Well,
Val
Tom
Kilmer
Cruise-
was your guy. You were an Iceman fan?
I mean, Val Kilmer is so hot in that movie.
Yeah.
Nobody's hotter than Tom Cruise in Top Gun. But Val Kilmer's right there.
There's another movie, an early movie that I related to a lot called Real Genius. That was basically the Andrew Perloff story.
Is that right?
Yeah, he was at CIT. It was a version of Caltech where he was a brilliant genius. Have you ever seen that? Oh, it's so great 80s comedy, and he's amazing in it. So, yeah, he's always good. Heat, of course. Manny and EJ, you guys might not have seen Heat. It's an older movie, but a lot of clips from Heat go on to the social media. You always see Al Pacino and De Niro yelling in Heat. Val Kilmer was amazing in that particular movie.
Oh, my God. He was so good in that movie. I mean, all-time bad guys, like, he was just great. Anyway, that was sad news about Val Kilmer. 888-710-4ISN. You can go and vote still in the Maggie and Perloff movie sequel bracket. We will update you on the Gotham region and the Corleone region later on in the show. Don't move.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 3 minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Uber Eats is delivering game day deals from hundreds of your local favorites all week. Order now on Uber Eats. Product availability varies by region. See app for details. Oh my God, I cannot wait for Saturday. 8:49. Duke tips off. It's not too late, so I don't have to. It's not a 10 o'clock tip. I am doing nothing. My wife, if she has plans, cancel them. I cannot wait for a date with my couch. The Saturday times are perfect because the rest of the tournament's been a bit inconvenient.
Wait, sorry to inconvenience you. But I thought this was going to tie into something you were ordering on Uber Eats. Like you can't wait to get on your couch and order the X.
No, I don't. But Uber Eats reminded me this will be a food event for me too. So I think the first game is 5:30 or something.
Something like that.
Yeah, this is a.
What are you gonna binge out on?
Honestly, I have these steaks that are.
You're gonna cook yourself.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna cook myself. I don't think I'm gonna do Uber Eats. Although Uber Eats is awesome. I think I'm going to cook these steaks on Saturday night.
Save yourself the trouble. Just call Uber Eats. You don't have to call them.
Yeah,
Tap of the phone.
That's a good point. Yeah. Yeah.
Meanwhile, what are you gonna eat?
Don't press me on the issue. Yeah.
You will order.
Yeah.
Dang it.
I could order dumplings. We're a big dumpling family. Saturday night dumpling party.
Yeah.
There's some amazing dumpling spots
How
in
do you
Brooklyn.
cook your
Who doesn't
steak?
love a good dumpling?
What do you mean? How do I cook it? Oh,
Like, are you on the stovetop? Okay.
Yeah.
Butter.
Oh, so much butter. What are the other ways? Do you mean in the oven?
I was gonna say a grill.
Air fryer.
Oh yeah, our grill. We actually cannot use our grill until later in the summer because I don't know if you've noticed. There's a massive windstorm 24 hours a day.
I don't know what's going on right now.
I have
the meteorologists are baffled. I think they don't explain it. It's a wind tunnel.
It has been 40 mile per hour winds for the last 3 months. And
it's like living in a hurricane here.
We have a little deck that we have a grill on, and we can't use it.
No, it'd blow off and kill somebody. I mean, you can't do that. It'd be a hazard.
Every day I have to go out and tuck everything in so it doesn't fly off. I don't know. I mean, I guess March comes in like a lion and leaves like a lamb. It's leaving like a lion. Sorry, I'm complaining about the weather. You got me started on the weather.
Sorry. I just I'm curious, though, because you guys have a balcony. You're, 8 floors up, something like that?
Yep.
And you put Hermes, your tortoise, out on the balcony.
No, we can't do it right now.
He'll get blown away?
No, we have another issue.
What?
Oh, come on.
Is Hermes okay?
There's some birds that have been hanging out on our balcony, and I think they're waiting for Hermes to come out.
No.
That's one thing. If anybody has a tortoise or a turtle, birds are a massive threat to them.
Big predator.
Yeah.
The predator.
I don't know if they actually know Hermes is there, but there's been these.
They smell him.
There's been birds all over our deck because it's a long story. Our neighbor is planting some things. Yeah, and I can't risk it.
You let the tortoise out on the deck?
Yeah.
Just loose? No,
we're with him. No, we're with him. But even if you're with him, I mean,
birds come in quick.
I don't want my daughter to be sitting there playing with the tortoise and a bird comes in. That would traumatize her for life.
So you're with him because I was like, you can not just let the tortoise out like a a cat or a dog in the backyard.
A lot of people do that.
But
part of my
ignorance. To be confined somehow. No.
Oh, you're worried that Hermes is going to fall off the deck? No, it's closed in, right?
No, Hermes can't climb out of the deck. No.
There's not like
there are slots, but they're up a little bit.
All right then.
I'm more terrified of a person falling off this deck. I've been like my constant fear.
Pardon my ignorance. How does one play with a tortoise?
There's certain things you can do.
Like play tug of war with it or something? Play fetch with it? Frisbee? Use it as a frisbee? Like what are we doing here?
It's a fair question. It's probably the best question Manny's ever asked on the show.
Our tortoise does nothing except eat. But if you put a piece of white paper in front of him, he will ram into it as hard as he can.
Interesting.
I don't know why.
Wait,
can we get video of that?
Yeah, I could definitely make a video.
There's actually video. I actually seen the reverse of that. I seen a turtle or a tortoise or something hard-shelled, going towards a black shoe and ramming its head on a black shoe and not doing anything to a white shoe.
Weird. Interesting.
Yeah.
Complete
opposite.
They're a mysterious animal. They live to 200 years old. We have to put it in our will, and our kids have to put it in our will.
So just watching the tortoise bang its head on a white piece of paper is entertaining enough?
Pretty much.
Can I tell you one of the most uncomfortable things that have ever happened in the history of this show? Didn't happen in the studio. Didn't happen on the air. Me and EJ and Perloff went to an alligator farm in New Orleans. We talked about it a lot when we were there. We went to, now I forgot the name of it, the Brothers, whatever it was. Great people, great place. Very hospitable.
Not a ton of fingers, but yeah.
Clee Bears, yes. Clee Bears.
Go Tigers.
Go Tigers. Fantastic people. What we didn't show you in that footage did not make the final cut were the tortoises that were there in these gigantic shells. And the tour guide insisted that I sit on it. I did not want to.
Yeah.
It was, you're going to listen to a guy who's missing 5 fingers. Like, you just don't question this dude. Like, we're on his turf.
Or maybe you should question him.
Wouldn't that be a reason to question?
I don't know. I mean,
I've never seen you more uncomfortable than the 1.5 seconds you were sitting on that tortoise.
Nobody wants, like, it felt like animal cruelty. I didn't want to do something like that. He was guaranteeing it's fine. And I sat on the tortoise and I didn't want to.
You got right back up.
Oh, I got right back up.
No, I think the tortoise was fine.
It felt like peer pressure, but this guy was not my peer. He was the tour guide at the alligator farm who was missing several fingers.
This guy was definitely laughing at you at the end of the day. Laughing
no
like
doubt.
That Yankee over there.
But we did have a scare. Did you guys see, I put it on social media and took it off, my April Fool's Day mishap yesterday?
No.
Oh, no.
Was this
What
like a Freddie
happened?
Freeman?
Worse than what Tiger Woods tried to pull?
That was just not funny.
No.
He's just not funny.
What about the bozo that fell for it?
EJ and I, after the show, had an informal production meeting
Yeah.
about April Fools. We're basically,
Bozo.
we were, because my youngest daughter loves April Fools. It's her favorite day of the year. So I'm like, I got to get her. We had some ideas. I came up with.
We workshopped some stuff.
Yeah. I printed up these signs and taped them onto the outside of our apartment building, saying that there was an issue with chemicals leaking to the HVAC system, and everyone has to abandon the building for 48 hours.
Oh my gosh, Perloff.
Oh, you did it for outside of your apartment?
Yeah, outside of it. I taped them up and I took pictures. Then when my kids were on the bus on the way home, I texted pictures of, oh no, we have to meet me at the Starbucks. We're going to have to figure out a plan. I guess we're going to stay with friends. I'm telling you, my daughter.
That's pretty good.
My daughter brings it on April Fool's. So I had to go. My 9th grader used it as excuse. She's like, oh, okay, good. I'm going to go over to my friend's house and stay over there tonight.
Yeah, and
she knew it
you'll
was
never
a fake.
see me again.
She knew it was a fake. My 7th grader calls me in a panic, leaves a message. I'm so worried about the tortoise.
Aw.
He's going to die in the thing. She had no idea it was a
Darn
fake.
right he is.
So I had to immediately call her and tell her it was April Fool's because she was almost at the brink of tears.
Oh, boy.
She thought Hermes. So I went too far.
Wait, but she
isn't that
loves
the
this
point?
holiday.
She did.
Maybe dish it out. You got to be able to take it.
She for some reason did not know that was an April Fool's joke, and you'll see the pictures were so cheesy. The posters, like she should have
Microsoft
figured,
Word.
She should have figured it out.
Paint.
Yeah. So basically, I got in big trouble, and she didn't like it at
But
all.
isn't that the point of April Fool's, though,
Yeah.
to make your child cry?
No, April Fool's, you're supposed to be like, oh, that's funny.
You got me.
You got me. Not like, oh my God, someone I care about is going to die.
Yeah, I took them down because people would tell me.
This is pretty good.
Did you write them in crayon?
No, I printed them out on the printer.
I am 12.
It took me about 10 minutes to find paper for the printer. This is a huge issue,
Hermes has been running
But
into the white
I
paper.
put up
You
on
couldn't
social
find
media.
it.
I had to take it down because, that I guess overall was a little too dark.
Also, it's funny that
my advice.
if the building was really closed for 48 hours, might need a bigger sign.
Yeah,
like
no.
some caution tape.
My other daughter's like, this font is not what the building would use.
She sniffed it out.
And why would it not be on the official letterhead of the management company?
Smart kids.
Yeah, you would have to wear a hazmat suit to get in. There's a lot of issues.
Is this Times New Roman, you rookie?
Did anybody get pranked? Did anybody fall for anything?
No, they pranked my kid
brown.
though at his school.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
what'd they do?
They pranked my kid at his school, and it was pretty clever for 5-year-old. They asked everybody who wants brownies.
Me?
Who
What?
wants
That
brownies?
sounds crueler than what I did.
I would
and
fall for that.
There's pictures because we get like pictures of every kid raising their hand. We want brownies. We want brownies. And they came around with a box that had the letter E cut out in brown paper. And then they gave him brownies. They eventually did give him the actual chocolate. I was
Took
like,
me a second. Brown
that would have
E's.
been diabolical though if they were like, psych,
Yeah.
That would've
no
been
brownies.
Good. I love that.
Psych, here's some long division.
Right? Yeah, it's like psych, and we're not even going on the playground today.
Yeah, that-
Everybody loses.
That's
It's 40
setting up to
degrees and
be
raining.
I thought it was going to say a picture of all the kids crying.
Well, it's because the way we get the photos,
Yeah.
it was like in chronological order. So
Oh,
I was
my
like,
God.
oh man, did they really not give him a brownie? And then I see a
Good.
big picture of my kid just chowing down.
I saw a cool video yesterday, and Pearl may appreciate this, with some teenagers. An entire school, the entire faculty for a day, they dressed up as students dressed coming to school.
Yeah, that's good.
So they're wearing like pajama pants. They're wearing, some
Slippers,
teachers are wearing
flip-flops,
some teachers
right,
are wearing shiesties, and like the students walk in, they're like, okay, we get it. That's pretty funny. It was
Man.
that was a good one.
But I've gotten, my mom used to do this to me all the time, short sheeting. My mom said they used to put saran wrap over the toilet.
Ooh.
Oh, wow.
That's funny.
That's pretty
good.
It's kind of messy.
Yeah.
Were
Who's
there any
cleaning that up?
So I know Tiger said he was playing the Masters. Were there any other pranks that like people
From
tried
the sports world,
Yeah.
that Tiger one was so unfunny.
Yeah, it was weak.
He basically was like, he said, he's like, well, I just tore my Achilles, but by the miracle of science, I'm going to be back for the Masters.
Hyperbaric chamber.
I was
yeah.
like, ha.
Jason Whitlock fell for it, I believe. And
Yeah.
CNBC as well went a lot.
No,
you're kidding.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. Now they caught it in the same like breath or segment, but someone must have given it to whoever was anchoring, and they went with it, and then they realized
I mean,
kind of all in one.
how dumb, man.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
This
How
is
dumb.
people who don't know sports.
There's
Like,
something.
Jason
there's a
Whitlock?
blind spot. Well, not Jason Whitlock, but CNBC people, they're crunching numbers over there.
There was a time where you just got fooled by yourself on April Fool's and no one else saw it. Because of social media now, we all see the people. So
Oh, yeah.
I saw a girl post that, oh, Ariana Grande is going to play Britney Spears in a biopic. I'm like, Come on. Like, really?
I would have definitely fallen for that. In fact, I'm ready to greenlight that project right now.
All right. 888-710-4ISA. And CeeLo, can you hang out for a second?
Sure.
We'll get to your headlines in just a moment. We also have more from the NFL owners' meetings and the big changes that could be coming this season. M&P.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. .30 seconds remaining. 15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back. Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. Top of the hour. It is Wednesday, so we will have a great debate for you. I like this one. This is a fun one that we've got kind of loosely based on the news. And speaking of the news, CeeLo is here. He's got all the latest headlines. What's up?
All right, one more Jerry Jones clip for you this hour, building on the story about Micah Parsons and the ongoing negotiations for a contract extension. So we heard Jones say Micah is one of 3 people, at least his claim, who has his cell number. Also that they talk regularly, and he claims he doesn't know the name of Micah's agent. Here was part 2 of the cell phone conversation, rather.
He asked for it about a month ago and said, I want to be able to talk to you at any time. And I said, Michael, you're one of the few, but we'll talk anytime. Call me. What is it? Anytime, any call.
So maybe just a chat buddy rather than about his contract, but the optics of that make it seem like, Mike has kind of opened up this direct line between him and the owner and sort of leaving the agent off to the side of it.
Can we just take this for a second? Think about this. He's the general manager of an NFL team also. Like, I know we wink, wink, nudge, but he's the general manager of a football team, and 3 people have his phone number. I thought general managers are on the phone all the time. You're wheeling and dealing. You're trying to get information. You're talking to people. You're on the phone constantly.
All the good ones do.
This can't
3
be.
people have your number.
This
One
can't
of
be
them's your
true.
own guy.
Jerry, only 3 people have his number.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's got multiple numbers or whatever.
Unless he's just talking about people in Micah's circle.
Maybe
I don't know,
meant
or multiple
players.
phones.
Maybe
yeah,
meant
players. Possibly.
Something tells me, so like, I don't think, is John Lynch getting on the phone? Well, the 49ers wouldn't. I'm trying to think who would get on the phone. Howie Roseman?
Well, one thing, if you're a GM, you can't become buddies with the players because you're going to have to cut every single one of them.
Well, yeah, that seems to have been flown out the window too.
But Jerry's saying, no, I don't let most of these players into my universe. And Mike is an exception. I was actually thinking, oh, that's smart. Because I would actually be worried that Jerry, everybody on the team is on the bus and has his number. I would think he's too close to the players, and he's kind of saying I keep distance, usually.
Okay, so I came up with a better example. Remember that whole rumor that Dak Prescott was going to get traded to the Cleveland Browns? Like,
yeah.
Are you telling? Or did Jerry get on the phone with Andrew Berry? Like, you're actually the GM here.
Well, that rumor made 0 sense.
I'm just saying.
The cap-wise, no, that rumor, I don't think Jerry and Andrew Berry ever actually talked. No, this can't be true because you're right. Other GMs have to have the call. But I don't think Jerry is a traditional GM anymore. Can we be honest about that?
I don't know. I mean, ask him. He said the buck stops with him always. So.
Right, but I think he acts more like an owner. Honestly, as I said, do you honestly think he's looking at tape of a North Dakota right guard right now?
Doubtful.
Howie Roseman is.
I think he probably likes that part of the job, no? He considers himself this big football guy.
I don't think he's as active a GM at 82 as he used to be. I think it's a name only. I really believe that. I think there are other people who are doing the brunt of it. Like a 42-year-old GM is grinding tape. Jerry, you think he's looking at this tape, Maggie? You think he knows?
Does he know what day it is? Do we
He's
know
got
what planet he's on?
He's got 3 people in his phone, as you said.
I wonder who the other 2 are. I am a little fascinated by that. Do you think it's boring and it's like Steven and Charlotte, or do you think there's something interesting there? Like it's Dion and I don't know.
Definitely.
And Troy Aikman.
Emmett or Dion. Yeah.
Micah Parsons. Been pretty critical of him. I don't know.
Yeah. Maybe Emmett was in there and then he rotated him out for Tony Romo. I don't know.
I bet it's Romo.
Like the old school speed dial, the rankings, the depth chart, you're out, you're in. He only allows 3 people to be in his phone. Now Micah's one of them.
Speed dialing.
I know. Manny wasn't alive for that. CeeLo.
Yeah,
what else
you got? What is that? All right, NBA-wise, you had a wild game.
Phone?
Beepers, yep, that too. Blackberries. A wild game between the Nuggets and the Timberwolves. 61-point triple-double for Nikola Jokic. Not enough, though, as the T-Wolves escaped Denver with a 140-139 victory. So Jokic free throw put them up by 1 with about 17 seconds to go. Minnesota turned it over. Russell Westbrook missed a layup and then committed a foul on what was the game-winning 3-ball attempt. The Timberwolves end up making 2 of the 3 free throws. They win by 1. So here was Jokic after playing a game-high 53 out of a possible 58 minutes.
There's a lot of... It was an exhausting game.
It sure was.
Let me put the cigarette down for a second. No,
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. You know what's funny about Jokic? So he has this incredible game. They lose, which is heartbreaking. And I know the whole thing is he doesn't care and he just wants to get back to the horses in Serbia. But you don't keep getting better if you don't care. You know?
Well,
I think deep down, this dude has to care more than anybody. He just gives off the impression that he
I need
doesn't
to go
care.
home. But I do think that he doesn't put too much pressure on himself, and that's why he keeps on performing at this high level. I think he doesn't get in his own head. You know, like athletes, the worst thing they can do is start thinking. Jokic doesn't care in a good way. Does that make sense? Like I get out there on the basketball court and I'm immediately thinking, oh man, the coach is watching me. If I miss this jumper, I'm out. Jokic is like, if I miss this jumper, I get to go home with my horses. I just think he's loose.
Yes, doesn't care, so he plays nice and loose. There you go. Any frustration with Westbrook missing the layup and then committing the decisive foul that led to the loss?
Why? I mean, it happened. It's basketball, you know. I'm pretty sure that he didn't want to make foul or whatever, so it happens, you know.
Sticking
I'm
up
pretty
for
sure.
his teammate there.
Can't be
yeah.
100%
Why?
certain.
Why would I? Yeah, why?
Pretty sure he didn't want to commit that foul.
Make foul.
Make foul, right. All right, so he goes for 61 in a loss. Steph Curry goes for 52 in a win, including 12 threes, as his Warriors win at Memphis 134-125. Baseball, the Dodgers won again 3-1 over the Braves behind Dustin May's return to the mound for the first time in more than 22 months. And this from a guy who couldn't even keep any food down for the better part of a couple of weeks.
Maggie?
The 1-1 pitch. Mookie, fly ball, left field, going back toward the wall. It is gone! Oh, did you? Mookie pumps his fist twice as he hits third base and gives the Dodgers a lead.
Dodgers radio, 2-run homer for Mookie Betts, who's hitting .375 with 3 long balls despite all that weight loss and that sort of mysterious illness that he went through. But he's back and obviously playing well for a defending champion in L.A. that is now 7-0, while the Braves, who lose that game, fall to 0-6. The Padres are 6-0. They shut out the Guardians 7-0. Kyle Tucker's fitting in quite nicely with the Cubs. He homered for the 4th straight game as Chicago beat the Athletics 7-4. Nate Eovaldi, the first complete game of the season, a 4-hitter on 99 pitches as his Rangers clipped the Reds 1-0. And Eugenio Suarez, go-ahead 8th inning grand slam to send the visiting Diamondbacks past the Yankees 7-5. Lastly, from hockey, Capitals over the Bruins 4-3. Alex Ovechkin, career goal number 891. He is just 4 shy now of breaking Wayne Gretzky's all-time record.
With how many games to go again?
For them, I don't know exactly, but figure somewhere in the range of, I'd say, 7 to 9 off the top of my head. Let me look real quick.
I mean, it's happening, which is crazy. The other part of this that's pretty crazy is no one was really expecting the Capitals to be a really good team
Not
this
like
year.
this. They might win the President's Trophy, yeah.
So they have the second most points of any team behind Winnipeg, right?
By 1, yeah.
By 1.
Point
They're
back.
right there. And that's today. And they're a Stanley Cup contender. Ovechkin's 39.
Yeah, he missed a decent chunk of the season with a fractured leg, and here he is still putting up a ton of goals and maybe breaking the record. They have 8 games remaining.
So I think there's a question here that I'm interested in, which is it seems like the entire team is clearly galvanized by the chase for Gretzky, right?
It's hockey.
So what happens if he gets it? Like, do the playoffs become kind of a letdown? Do you keep
Air out
that
the balloon.
same momentum? And let's say the opposite. Say he falls 1 short, or he just ties Gretzky or whatever. Is that also going to be kind of like a womp womp?
The only thing that's, I think, a little different here is they won their cup a few years back now. It's whatever it is, 5, 6, 7 years. So it's not like this is a team at the end of their window, even though he's
at the
entering the end of his career at the later stages. But last year they barely got in.
Yeah.
And the Rangers swept them in the first
There's
round.
no pressure.
But they've got a lot of young, up and coming players. The coach is a younger guy who's done a great job. So I feel like they're on the rise. So maybe that helps them a little bit beyond what's going on with Ovechkin, the individual.
And hockey's so unpredictable, right?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. But this is like you're expending a lot of emotional energy. I was going to say capital, but
True.
no pun intended. But like when you have that kind of pursuit and then you get to the playoffs, and again, you don't have expectations, even though you've had this great season.
The good news for them is they're in line to play the whatever team wins the second wild card, and that's been sort of like a you take it, no, you take it, no, you take it.
Yeah, no one wants it.
Yeah, so that could work out nicely for them in the first round to kind of ease into it a little bit, but we'll see.
Pretty amazing.
Yeah.
We have a big debate, Seal. You're a huge hockey guy. I'm curious if you'll weigh in on this. Will Gretzky be there when Ovechkin breaks the record? Is he going to follow him around like the Maris family followed around Aaron Judge?
That's a great question. I think, why I think he might is, Wayne's been involved in some of these national broadcasts, like working for TNT. I don't know if he's done it much this year, if at all, but it's not like he's vanished from the game. He still has a little bit of a presence. So maybe once he's within one of tying or passing, it's possible. I could see that.
So this is a big debate because Perloff thinks he's definitely going to be there, like to witness this and kind of congrats Ovechkin in person. I think Wayne Gretzky is actually so busy being Wayne Gretzky that he will send a video tribute and they'll play it whenever.
Yeah, I mean, in this day and age, it's kind of easy to do that, right? So I suppose he could go that direction.
It's like Wayne shot it on his phone in his Ferrari or something.
Hey, Alex.
Hey, Ovi.
From the golf course with Perloff.
Janet's in the background. Now we've got your attention. All right, it's Wednesday, which means the great debate. We got a fun one for you. Stick around.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. 1 minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
Our long national nightmare is finally over. We will be having Hawkeye to determine first downs in the NFL. Hallelujah. Goodbye, chain gang. We knew that was happening, but now we get the technology that is befitting of the year 2025, Pearl. We've got the Hawkeye. We're going to know where the first down line is. This was an issue even last year in the postseason. We needed to know, and we got it.
Well, you're just taking that personally because of the Bills.
Yeah.
I do not totally understand how this is going to work perfectly, because the big debate is when is the knee down and how is the technology going to determine, like, we're getting into one butt cheek versus two butt cheeks.
Hell yeah, we are.
But obviously technology can't help with that at all, so it's a pure judgment still.
Listen, I think between the Hawkeye, which is what they use in tennis to determine whether the ball's in or out, and you can get to the absolute millimeter to figure out where the ball is, and I think because of the replay assist, I just think we're getting into a place now where we're getting closer to where more and more things are going to be reviewable. And you want to know the person who first floated the idea that everything should be reviewable, the one and only Bill Belichick, who doesn't get more traditional than Bill in history of the game and acknowledging and celebrating the history of the game. And if Bill Belichick thought reviewing everything was a good idea, then I think that should be taken very seriously.
Well, I don't think on that note, I don't think they went far enough with this set of rule changes. I don't think Hawkeye helps at all, by the way. I think you're going to still have major problems because the issue is when is the body down. But they are the one that everyone wants. They're not putting face masks into the game. Basically, if the guy gets face masks and they miss it, they can't add the flags.
Right.
So what did they really do this time around?
Well, I think, how many face masks you have in a particular game or controversial calls like that, maybe one, maybe none. But where the first down marker is, if the Hawkeye can help with that at all to get more specific than where the chain gang is, then that's every single play. It's in play every single play.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't think that most controversies are a little different. I mean, we have what are the famous bad plays? The pass interference in the Rams-Saints NFC Championship game, the miss face mask. Like, why? I still don't understand why couldn't they just add that in? I know there's a movement to do it.
Yeah,
tell me why.
I hope they will, but I think they do these things incrementally, and we're getting more and more to a place where they're embracing the technology and accepting it. I mean, nobody will forget when Gene Steratore had to put a index card by the football to see where the first down line was, or whether or not it got the chain. Say football is a game of inches, but I think a lot gets lost with those chain gangs, and no disrespect to those guys, but I do think that this could be a lot more accurate. Let's see if it works. You're poo-pooing it. We haven't even seen it yet.
I don't think that's a major issue with football.
It was for Buffalo last year in the playoffs.
But then again, how would the Hawkeye have helped that? The question was, when was he down?
I think they're going to use, I don't know. I'm not sure.
Because it's so different than a tennis ball. The tennis ball is just a ball in a line.
Right, where it is. But here's the thing. Why do you think they would approve it if they don't think there's a reason for it?
I think it definitely will help incrementally, but I don't think I don't think it would help with the Josh Allen play.
I don't know. 888-710-4ISN. So that's one of the big changes that's coming out of the owners' meetings. And with that in mind, we get to the great debate.
The Great Debate Series.
All right, if you're new to the program, this is something we do every Wednesday. It's loosely based on the news. And so today's great debate, what is the greatest sports innovation? I don't think Hawkeye is going to make the list, but it's, again, loosely based on the news. We also saw the torpedo bats this week has been a really big story with
Yankees
moving the sweet spot, making that the thickest part of the bat. So we're still innovating all the time. So with that in mind, what is the greatest sports innovation ever?
The tush push. No, I'll start first.
All right, segment over.
It is an innovation in a sense. I am actually going to do a play, much like the tush push, that changed football and, I would argue, the country of America forever. You guys ever heard of a little thing called the forward pass?
Yes.
Okay, good. Now it might just be called a pass. You know, you don't have to call it forward. It's implied. 1905, 19 people died playing the game of football. 19 people.
Wow.
So Theodore Roosevelt had to step in, the then president, and say, you guys got to change the rules or I'm banning this, making this sport illegal. So what changed the rules evolved into in the next couple years was the forward pass. Football was about to go away forever because they had this play where basically everyone lined up and just ran into each other full speed, and many people were dying. So they invented the forward pass, and then they, I would say, perfected it for about 100 years, and 2005 changed the rules even more. And now we have the greatest sport in American history, and that is the NFL football, and that is all because of what happened in 1905 in Theodore Roosevelt.
But this one is going deep for Worthy, and the rookie holds it in. That's the longest touchdown pass for Mahomes in a long time.
Yeah, I mean, that's what John Heisman and Walter Camp and Frank Shaughnessy and all the pioneers of football had in mind was Patrick Mahomes throwing a no-look pass. Can you imagine football? Amazing. I guess that's what rugby was, but there was a no forward pass. So to me, that is the most significant, and this is on-field. You don't have to go on-field innovation.
Okay, we're asking the greatest sports innovation of all time. It's our great debate. I'm going to go to something a little more modern, but maybe not as modern as you think. And I'm going with fantasy football, fantasy sports in general. Started actually, Pearl, can be traced all the way back to the 1950s.
Really?
Yeah, but it's obviously gotten to a point now where I think fantasy sports is the greatest sports innovation because think about what it did. It took people from just rooting for your own team to having a rooting interest. Like if you weren't a traditional gambler at the time, to having a rooting interest far beyond just your own team. You know, you are now looking at the entire league and trying to find value. It created just sports fans as opposed to I'm a Yankee fan and I'm a Sixers fan or what have you. And I think that's been really important for the growth of sports. The other part is that it keeps you watching during garbage time. So it continues, like, you know, you still watch even when games are in the balance, even when games are not in the balance anymore. A sense of community, clearly the gambling aspect. I think it is one of the things that has helped the NFL more than anything. Everyone's got a fantasy team from an 8-year-old to an 80-year-old. Grandmothers have them. I know friends who couldn't pick out Patrick Mahomes in a lineup. They've got fantasy, all-women fantasy leagues. Like, it works. It really does. I think fantasy sports has been the biggest innovation. You get to play GM. Because none of us are actually playing tight end. So
is it the history that their part of it was these guys invented a baseball league in the rotisserie restaurant?
Yes,
that's why it's called
80s.
rotisserie baseball?
That's why they call it rotisserie. That apparently happened
cool?
in the 80s, but you can go back and trace fantasy all the way back to the 50s.
Love it.
There you go. Let's go.
Our object shall be to assemble a lineup of 23 National League Baseball players.
Cumulative statistics
exceed those of all other teams in the league.
Forget Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's.
Skip your birthday.
Hire someone else to remember Mother's Day.
And your wedding anniversary.
From now on, draft day is the single most important day of your life.
It created a whole industry. Thank you. I didn't mean to jump that. Fantasy sports, to me, the greatest sports innovation. That's our great debate. Go for it, EJ.
Okay, very good pick so far, but I think when I think innovations, I want something that helps the fans and something that doesn't really require you to have to do anything except turn on your remote. And I think for me being a Jets fan, a Knicks fan, and a Mets fan, sometimes watching your local team can be depressing. But for a long time, you were stuck with your local team.
Them boys stunk.
Well, thanks to these sports leagues and inventions like NFL Sunday Ticket, you were then able to expand beyond your regional market.
So that's it? I'm hooked up for NFL Sunday Ticket? I never thought that I could see all these games on my TV, but now with this dish I truly see how beautiful life can be. 'Cause I got the Sunday Ticket. It's mine, Peyton! The NFL Sunday Ticket, check him out. I never thought I'd see the day when I would have the juice to say, hey, Butkus, come watch the Bears. I never thought that I would see all these games in sweet HD, because I'd have said it couldn't be done.
That's Jeff Garvis, of course, the great Jeff Garvis on a DirecTV commercial for NFL Sunday Ticket. That is my pick. I'm doing the NFL Sunday Ticket, NBA League Pass, MLB Extra Innings invention, right? The idea that you could watch games beyond your local market. It changed things for a lot of people who have to change jobs, change lives, and they move across the country and they no longer see their local team. Well, they still can, thanks to the invention of out-of-market games where you can buy a package and keep up with your team. So I think this has been vital for me. I lived in Pennsylvania, still got to watch the Knicks, the Mets, and the Jets. So for me, I'm going with NFL Sunday Ticket.
It's a phenomenal one, EJ. Well done. Jeff Garlin.
Sorry, Garvis, I don't know why I said that.
Do you guys remember the giant dishes in the back?
Yes.
You probably grew up in, because when my grandparents lived near you, and a lot of people had these satellite TVs where they could get multiple games. That doesn't exist much anymore, right? In Alaska, I'm sure it does.
I think you still need the dish, but anyway, Sunday Ticket
Well,
now is
but
on.
I mean, they
it's on
used to be
YouTube
like the
TV.
size of a house, though. Yeah, just so you could get an out-of-market game. But you should have to basically communicate with outer space.
Yeah, it's like, are you intercepting messages from the Kremlin? It's like, no, I'm just trying to watch the Chargers, actually. All right, Manny, go ahead. The greatest sports innovation of all time was what?
Well, for me, I actually started jotting down some notes and whatnot, but our spectacular producer, EJ, he pulled a commercial about this thing that I think is the best innovation. Back in the early 2000s is when this commercial was a thing.
The legend was born in 1965 in the storied swamp of Florida, where the scorching heat took a brutal toll on the Gators.
The players weren't adequately hydrated and their performance suffered.
The answer, a new carbohydrate electrolyte beverage created by University of Florida doctors.
Naturally, we called our stuff Gatorade.
From the Gators' Orange Bowl triumph in '67 to their national title in '07. And for millions of athletes in between, the legend continues.
The way that guy said Gatorade always stuck with me for whatever reason from the time I was 5-6 years old. Big shout out to Florida scientists Robert K., Dana Shires, Harry James Free, and Alejandro de Quesada. Gatorade, guys. Gatorade is the top innovation sports has ever had. Listen, you run a marathon, boom, you get a Gatorade. You play basketball, boom, you get a Gatorade. You blow chunks on the side of I-80 like Maggie last week, boom, Gatorade at the end of the day. Some horseplay in the shower or maybe in the back seat, boom, some Gatorade. Gatorade is the best invention sports has given us. Thank you to the University of Florida for some Gatorade. Boom, Gatorade, is it in you?
Manny, phenomenal. We're asking what's the greatest sports innovation of all time. And CeeLo sitting in for Bogusch today. Take us home.
All right. Biased. I'll admit it. It's a biased answer.
Okay.
But I'm going media as well. And we're going the creation and the entrance of all sports talk radio, 24/7. WFAN right down the hallway here in New York City, July 1st, 1987. Without that, we're not sitting here right now doing what we do every single day. And it's extended to TV as well with daily debate and talk shows. So the way we watch, consume, discuss sports has certainly evolved over time. But with what we do on a day-to-day basis, it wouldn't be without the beginning of that back in the late 80s. So that's my top sports innovation with a little personal twist on it.
Good afternoon, everybody. How are you today on a Tuesday here in New York City?
I was screaming and yelling. I was picking on everybody.
Chris Russo. Mike and the Mad Dog, but the very first voice on WFAN, the great Susan Waldman.
Yep.
Now of the Yankee broadcast. So there you go.
That's a great one. I mean, sports talk all the time. And, it's like sports talk, and I think what you're saying, it led to sports debate, sports TV. Manny's saying Gatorade, like this great invention. And you're talking about actual Gatorade, but also, just sports health And that's kind of shorthand for like taking care of your body.
Or selling sugar water for billions of dollars.
That too.
I'll tell you, that stuff is just magic, though. Manny's right. When I was sick last week, the Gatorade got me through. So there you go. What is the greatest sports innovation of all time? It's your great debate. Obviously, this is off of the torpedo bat, which we saw this week, which made a big waves, and all these changes now with the NFL coming out this week.
I'm the only one who went on field. You guys all went media.
Mm-hmm.
Well, except for Manny, who's sort of on field. Gatorade. What if you were going to have to do
a science lab?
What are some of the options that are innovations on the field? I was thinking like the slam dunk or something.
Right. I was going to say with 3-point shot.
Yeah.
That was a huge one. But the other one I was thinking about going with was the yellow first down line. I think that's one of the great innovations too. And having just like the score and the time up all the time on the TV broadcast.
With the score bug. Yeah.
Score bug. But let's talk about more on the field stuff. You did forward pass, I think 3-point line.
What's a baseball? Like a curveball? I don't even know what.
Steroids, PEDs.
Didn't they call it the dead ball era? And
yeah.
You know what? Probably lowering the mound may have been a big one.
Yeah. Baseball's been many small changes. Yeah.
Spider tack. Yeah, they just got rid of that.
Sticky stuff.
Well, see, Manny said Gatorade, but don't you think PEDs probably had a little bit more of an impact than the Gatorade? But I like that you went with Gatorade.
How about the face mask and or whatever protective gear in hockey?
The goalies
that didn't have anything, that was nuts.
Those guys were psychos.
They've gone very far from the one-bar Riddell helmets.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, just helmets, period, not the leather.
Yeah, but there are some people argue these are more dangerous, ironically, because people turn themselves into human missiles with these helmets.
Yeah, I'm sorry to jump on you. People just go head first if you actually don't have a helmet like rugby, you will protect your head more.
Right.
Because it's like human nature. Have any of you guys been to Canton, to the Hall of Fame?
No.
No, not even close. Been to Cleveland.
Do you remember there's a small part where it's the innovation of the cup?
Oh,
no.
This one always struck me.
Small innovation of the cup?
Well, it's, medium, whatever. But I'm a woman, so this doesn't come into my purview. But the first ones were metal.
Oof. Oh, God.
Sorry, America. And it looks medieval.
Probably
it looks like a chastity belt kind of, or something like that. And it's metal. It's like, oh wow, that even looks painful to me, and I don't even have this
Jamie
kind
Lannister
of plumbing.
Playing quarterback back then. What's going on?
Guys don't, and it's funny in football. Famously, they don't use cups, right? Like nobody uses them.
No.
I mean, they're not particularly comfortable. They definitely get in the way of your movement and flexibility. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's a.
I feel like a catcher or something. You've got to wear one.
I would hope. Yeah.
I think there are very few pro athletes who wear them.
Yeah, but a catcher's a little different.
Yeah, but
but we've seen catchers get hit there.
Yeah, they
clearly see we're not wearing one.
I don't know. Even if you wear one, it still hurts.
Yeah, I don't think it's just kind of like blink and it just falls off.
Right. Even with the metal ones back
like
in the day.
Pebble on like a pebble on a metal
I mean,
or
to me,
something.
it's no different than hockey player, they wear skates that have protection and take a slap shot off the ankle. It could still fracture your ankle, even though you've got the skate covering it.
I mean, a kid almost died last week, right? Who got cut in the neck with the skate, which has happened many times.
Oh, sure. Exposed skin, or he cuts through the sock sometimes.
Yeah,
but I'm
hockey's insane.
Right. But
this is where we need more innovation because we still not fully protected.
And again, imagine all the innovation that they've had on the hockey equipment since 1970.
Yeah.
And even then, we're talking about hockey still needs more innovation.
Yeah.
You could have sumo wrestlers in there. They used to be 100-pound goalies. Now they're 210 pounds with 50 pounds of gear on top.
I'll tell you what, one of the things I think of as a fan in terms of innovation is the mobile ticket. That is just, I mean, not having to get the ticket shipped to you, wait for the mail, make sure you don't get it in the mail.
Did you print out the ticket?
Yeah, or you print it out and bringing out a big piece, you're crumbling up a bunch of paper.
You could lose it.
Counterfeit tickets.
Counterfeit tickets. I mean, I feel like this is not even a thing anymore, but I remember scalping tickets.
Oh, yeah.
There's still scalpers out there.
Are there still
that seems
there's not
really
paper
shady
tickets
now,
anymore.
right? Yeah.
It's so annoying.
Yeah, he was literally saying, anybody have 2 extra electronic tickets?
Let's make it down on the street. What's your email? I'll transfer you the e-ticket.
I'm going to need your email. It's a good way to get people's email addresses.
You know who does like the memorabilia people are upset about, though? Darren Ravel keeps tweeting, like, we need these tickets, people.
Oh.
It's a funny thing. You don't have a Super Bowl ticket anymore. Maybe you have a Super Bowl ticket. They still do tickets, right?
I don't know. I've never actually been to a Super Bowl as a fan. I've only been with the press pass.
Like you can't have that. Actually, Darren Ravel, the of course memorabilia guy, tweets a lot about that. He's like, should we bring back a form of paper tickets to go along with the electronic ticket as a keepsake? I really don't care. I'm not into that.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like that's like a memorabilia thing. I don't know if anyone else really cares. To be
I
honest.
agree.
We're asking, what's the greatest sports innovation of all time? It's our great debate today. So keep them coming. We see you guys on the phones. We're going to get to your responses. Got torpedo bats now. We've got Hawkeye for the first down line. We've got
automated ball strike system coming next season in baseball.
Robot umps. I mean, there's been a lot of innovations.
West Coast offense. I want to hear some strategic ones. Like this, somebody invented, Steve Kerr and whoever in Golden State said, let's shoot more threes, that kind of thing.
The infield shift.
Oh,
yeah, the
shift.
They
killed it.
I mean, that was, but that's been around for a really long time, and now it's outlawed. 888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. I mean, the Princeton offense, analytics.
Sabermetrics.
Sure.
The Princeton.
I said fantasy sports, kind of a little bit of an offshoot, tiny of that, but analytics is very different.
No, I think Moneyball. You know, that the movie.
Yep.
When you get Brad Pitt involved, that gives it a huge boost.
All right, 888-710-4ISN, the great debate. The greatest sports innovation of all time. What is it? Let us know.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. 1 minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back, Maggie and Perloff Show. Manny, does Sweet Home Alabama have anything to do with today's great debate, which is the greatest innovation in sports history?
Yeah, sure. Restrictor plate racing, Talladega, Alabama. Boom.
Oh, I was thinking more Junction Boys, Bear Bryant off-season workout programs. He was the first.
I don't think they were serving Gatorade down there, which Manny said was the greatest sports innovation of all time. Manny's going with Gatorade. You never said the flavor, by the way.
All of them. I don't discriminate.
We're asking you, greatest sports innovation of all time. Obviously, if you've been paying attention to the news this week, torpedo bats are the new thing. We have all these changes now in the NFL that we've been talking about. Tush push. Do you ban it? Do you keep it? First down lines now with Hawkeye. Just sports are always changing. And we're asking, what's the greatest sports innovation? Jeff's our pal in Tucson. What do you think it is, Jeff?
Well, I'm going to bring you way back to Ted Turner giving us cable TV back in the 70s.
Yep.
Where we had little crystals in our box. So he brought us Atlanta Braves. He brought us first out-of-market games, then WGN hooked on after that out of Chicago. And then the New York market got in it right after that. So we had 3 out-of-market games we could watch after Ted got about a year in. And he brought us the Vernon Shirley, obviously, right? That was strong. I'll throw that in there for you.
But yeah, Jeff, you got to go ESPN then. Why would you go with Turner?
Because he was the first.
Yep.
ESPN hooked on to him. ESPN got on the cable network that he started.
Jeff, I mean, Ted Turner, what an innovator, not just for sports, but also cable news. And thank you for the call. EJ had as his greatest sports innovation of all time, like Sunday Ticket, League Pass. You kind of fast forward to the modern version of that with out-of-market games because now the customer gets to choose. We get to decide which out-of-market games. When it was Ted Turner, you were getting the Braves. When it was WGN, you were getting the Cubs, right?
Right, which was not Turner.
Right. But you never used to be able to choose. It was whatever they gave you. With EJ's choice, it's like it's totally catered and tailored to whatever you want to watch.
I would just argue, I think the creation of ESPN by far bigger.
ESPN's a massive innovation, but because also from what I remember as being a kid with TNT and with WGN, I remember maybe a pregame show, but not all the shoulder programming ESPN that created a 24-hour network about it.
Yeah, no, I mean, Turner tried to get into the game late with CNNSI and failed. Turner was a big deal in the cable world, but ESPN was the king of sports cable and started in 79. He's right. I think that Turner was early 70s. The best thing on Turner was when I was a kid, they used to have this wrestling program that was basically does anyone, EJ, you're a wrestling historian.
Yeah.
They basically had this little TV studio that was right below Ted Turner's office in Atlanta. He used pro wrestling as a big tool to get all this off the ground.
I mean, we could have put Vince and how he, as far as sports innovations, how he combined the territories. I mean, we're talking about kind of the more traditional sports here. But we also know that, the XFL led to a lot of innovations with the NFL, or they basically just kind of stole a few of them. John in Boise has a fantastic one that we have not said yet. Good morning, John.
Hey, so I forget what team it was, but I was 11 years old, 10 years old, and I remember my dad loving when instant replay came into the NFL. He just thought that it was like way past time for it to come in.
Instant replay is such a game changer. This could absolutely win as the greatest sports innovation of all time.
Oh,
John,
I don't
thank
know.
you so much. Instant replay.
A lot of people hate it, though.
Well, but here's the thing. You had to be, but you want to watch the play again. Even if you think, every blade of grass, like, come on, neighborhood play.
Are we talking about just showing
Watching
a play?
it. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you couldn't do that for a while.
I immediately thought he meant the officiating instant replay.
I mean, I think reversing calls off of instant replay and stuff is a little bit more polarizing, but just having it, like,
yeah. But what year? Wait. What year? I missed that. But when did that start?
The 70s, I think.
Probably.
No.
Yeah.
They didn't have instant replay in the 50s and 60s? You couldn't run a play?
How?
What?
I don't think they had a truck out there when Mickey Mantle was playing. But
The
maybe
Heidi game in 1968?
No, that's an NFL film thing. That was a huge deal. I remember I watched an NFL show about the influx of instant replay during NFL games. And as the caller said, like, it was like, oh my God, we got to see something that happened 30 seconds ago. That never was a thing. I didn't realize how late into the history of the NFL that happened. But yeah, this was like 70s, maybe even 80s. I'm not 100% sure.
No way.
But it was late. It was.
I don't know.
late.
I don't think that was a laugh at me type mistake. Not knowing what
I didn't think it wasn't around in the 50s.
No, I'm saying 50s, definitely not. No
Well,
way.
the first instant replay and officiating was 86. So it had to be around for a little while before that.
I think it was about the 70s, I'm saying.
Let's go to Tony, who's in Ontario. Tony, the greatest sports innovation is what?
I would have to say it's got to be either the goalie mask or curved hockey sticks.
Goalie mask, no doubt. I mean, people would be dead. You know, it's crazy to me that guys didn't play with masks. It's crazy to me, you know, that guys, when you could choose to play with a helmet, but you could have been grandfathered in. Do you remember when that happened and guys still didn't play with helmets, even just position players, not goalies? I still think
Craig
that's nuts.
McTavish, the last guy to wear a helmet. Yep.
Isn't that nuts? And, of course, the curved hockey stick. Tony, thank you so much. And Big Easy, it's our pal in New Orleans. Easy, what's the biggest and greatest sports innovation of all time?
Good morning, you guys. I just thinking the 100-year-old sport with the baseball purists not want to change nothing. But last year, the clock change, forcing the hitter and the pitcher to speed up the game. That's good for baseball. That's good for fans that don't have to sit in the stands for 4 hours anymore. This is 100 years because baseball purists don't change anything. They just refuse. I think it changed the game, and the fact that Theo Epstein had a part of that, a big part of that. I don't know. I just felt like that was good enough for me to call you guys on. And one question before I go, and I'll hang up and listen. Because of his resume, what he did with my Cubs, what he did with Boston, and what he's done as an executive for baseball, do you think at 51 he might be the next commissioner? I'll hang up and listen. Love the show as usual.
Thank you, Big Easy. I think definitely, I think he wants to be the next commissioner, no doubt. But Rob Manfred's not young, not old.
Yeah, Manfred seems to be on an uptick.
Manfred's on the way out? What happened?
Yeah, he said, I believe, after the 2026 season, he's retiring.
I didn't even see that.
Oh, yeah.
Next year?
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, he's retiring rather soon.
Why? He's taken all these victory laps with all the stuff that, is Theo Epstein's brainchild. Interesting. I did not hear that. I don't know how I missed it, but okay. Pitch clock, definitely. I mean, here's the thing about the pitch clock, though, with baseball. We're talking about great sports innovations. It's being lumped in because it came at a time when the bases got bigger, 3-batter minimum. You have the man on second in extra innings, banning the shift. I mean, baseball, it was whiplash how many rule changes they had in such a short amount of time. But pitch clock has been awesome.
I have to amend that, by the way. 2009 is when his contract will 2029 is when his contract will expire, and he will not renew Rob Manfred.
Okay. So
well, yeah,
kind of calling your shot kind of early.
But not 100%. Maybe he changes his mind.
Theo Epstein, I think, would make an excellent commissioner.
Definitely.
His reign would be from 2015 through 2029 if he does retire like he said he would.
Yeah. And before that, he was like one of the top lead lawyer
under Bud
attack
Selig.
dogs for Bud Selig. All right, guys, keep them coming. The greatest sports innovations of all time. That's our great debate today. CeeLo has more headlines for us. What's going on this morning, C?
All right, Cowboys owner Jerry Jones trying to use his time with the media at the annual league meeting this week to, I guess, control the ongoing Micah Parsons extension negotiations. He enlightened us that Micah asked for his cell number, and he let him have it and let him into the very exclusive fraternity of people who have it, and it's 3, apparently, even though we kind of find that hard to believe. So let's just keep these contract talks between us one-on-one.
The agent is not a factor here, or something to worry about. And I don't know his name.
Problem is, it's David Mulugheta, who's considered one of the best and most respected agents in the league. Now, Jones did say he wasn't trying to demean the agent or anything like that, but also in the next breath reiterated.
This isn't about an agent. The agent doesn't have one thing to do with what we're doing when we get on a football field against a team. Micah does. To the degree I'm involved, I do.
I mean, you could say that about any player and agent, though, no? I mean, so this is, I guess he's trying to make it a unique situation with Parsons. Feels like leverage and control out in the public space. And Parsons
feels unnecessary.
And Parsons volleyed back on X. There's no one I trust more when it comes to negotiating contracts than David.
Yeah.
There will be no back doors in this contract negotiation.
You know the old trick when you're hitting on a girl as a boyfriend and you're or you want to hit on the girl and you pretend you forget the boyfriend's name or call him by, oh, you mean Tony, Tony. You mean my boyfriend Rick? Oh, right, whatever. We've all done that.
You diss him on purpose.
Yeah. That's exactly what Jerry Jones clearly knows David Mulugheta's name. That was some sort of message. It was idiotic, but
yeah, I used to say, "Oh boy."
I've never heard that before. This is something you guys really thought of? Like,
oh, that's an old move, yeah.
Make it seem like you're not paying attention.
You do that for the girl you're pursuing, and then once you have an ex, you also say, "Oh yeah, old girl."
Yeah.
You don't name the ex after either, too.
But you intentionally call the boyfriend a different name to demean him.
Not even his name. No, you just say, "Oh boy," or like, "Oh yeah, homeboy."
I like the wrong name, especially if he's right there too.
Yeah, because he's not even significant enough a person to remember his name, which is, and Jerry's like, I don't mean this as any offense to his agent. It's like, what?
I said with all due respect.
Clearly means I want to talk to Micah. And again, I think you guys have this all wrong. I think Jerry's brilliant not to bring the agent in because that agent is going to fleece him.
Well, Jerry's one just big juicy meatball for all these agents. They all get over on him.
Yeah.
So we had a couple of the rule changes that did go through yesterday. As far as the tush push goes, though, the proposal to ban the play tabled until the spring meeting in late May. Reportedly, 16 teams were in favor of it, but you need 24 to make a change. So still some lobbying to do there. And if you listen to Roger Goodell from his press conference yesterday, it seems pretty clear which side he is on.
There's a lot of discussion about going back to the previous rule, back to pre-2004. The reality of it is I think that's makes a lot of sense in many ways because I think it expands it beyond just that single play.
So they're kind of couching it with, well, it's safety and it brings other things into play and into factor, but feels like they're trying to get more teams on board to get the vote done on this in about a month or so.
Listen, they've already basically told you how they're going to do this and what they're going to do because Rich McKay, who came out and he was like, basically it's 3 things. It's safety, it's should you have to defend it, and it's part of the history of football. Like they've covered how are you going to argue with any of that stuff? Like they want it banned, it will eventually be banned. Or I don't know why they want it banned, Perloff, to your point, just because people can't stop it. I don't know why they want it banned, but they're clearly hell-bent on getting it out of the game.
It's ugly. I get that. I think at the end of the day, I don't even think it's competitive. I just think it looks so bad. It's so slow. And also, it encourages
handing off to a running back and him running right into the line is also kind of boring, but no one's banning it.
Well, I think the guaranteed first down slows down the game because now the Eagles can just run. It encourages a run. All the rules are to help the pass. That's the most important thing for the sport is to help.
Because of why?
It's more exciting.
Fantasy, which is my great sports innovation.
Or the forward pass.
Pass. But I think it's...
No, why would that be fantasy? You used to be able to draft running backs, and now I think
running backs are back.
The game is so much more aesthetically pleasing when there's passing. And I think that's a big innovation. That's when the NFL really took off in 2004, when they changed the rules that you couldn't mug the receivers.
But Fantasy too, because you're running back, sure. But now when you get the PPR leagues, the running backs can double dip as runner and receiver as well.
Yeah, which is like Christian McCaffrey was going 1 overall in a lot of leagues years ago. I think that, again, we're doing great debate day, greatest sports innovations. Fantasy, I thought, has influenced the game, to me, for football.
Mm-hmm. And all those players on the field because of Gatorade.
Mayonnaise innovation,
Amongst
lemon
other
lime
things,
Gatorade.
Yes. Elsewhere, Calais Campbell's still going. He signs up for his 18th NFL season and a return to the Arizona Cardinals on a 1-year deal. Last played for them in 2016, which covered the first 9 years of his career. NBA did a bunch on this double OT win for the Timberwolves over the Nuggets in Denver, 140-139, as Minnesota overcame a 61-point triple-double from Nikola Jokic. Meantime, in Memphis, big night for Steph Curry resulted in a Warriors victory.
Down to Pajamski, back over to Draymond, to Curry, left corner, lets it fly, 3-ball, left corner pocket. Warriors take the lead, 121-120. Curry's got a 50-point game.
Tim Roy, Warriors radio, he went for 52, including 12 threes to go along with 10 boards, 8 assists, and 5 steals as the Warriors won at Memphis 134-125. Steve Kerr has often said there's really little else he can say about Steph Curry, but when he has nights like these, he at least attempts to explain just how much he is in awe of the sharpshooter.
The conditioning, the skill, the audacity, the belief, it's just incredible to watch Steph at work. I mean, I can't believe he's still doing this at this age, but he's put the work in and he still got it.
And obviously, the Warriors have certainly gotten hot and turned things around since the Jimmy Butler trade, and they've been kind of full speed ahead since that point in time. Lastly, from hockey, we mentioned last hour, Capitals over the Bruins 4-3. Another goal for Alex Ovechkin. He's up to .891 for his career, just 4 shy now of breaking Wayne Gretzky's all-time record. 8 games left in the regular season for Washington.
It's hockey.
CeeLo, thank you so much. Keep your nominations coming. The greatest sports innovation of all time. That's our great debate. We got a lot more for you. The chat is weighing in. Callers are weighing in. Don't move. It's M&P.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining.
Believe Belotti's got something to say. Infinity's mice. He's feeling the dismay. No NBA on NBC. What a shame. Just JJ Redick's wine ain't the same. Peter Bellotti is getting upset. Maggie Perloff, can you hear his plea? Bring back the NBA on NBC. Set his spirit free. He misses Ma. Co-stars and the crew, those were the days. Pete cries out boo, boo. Bring it back, or can't you see? Bring back the NBA on NBC. Let it be. Pete's mad, he's feeling sad. Bring it back, oh make it right. Believe Belotti's got something to say.
Manny and EJ, they're diehard Knicks fans. Living in the Big Apple, they're part of the grand plan. But they just witnessed the crushing defeat. 76ers taking the victory, man. That's hard to beat. Sitting in the studio, talking about the game. Maggie and Perloff, it ain't all the same. Perloff's a Philly fan. It's hard to stand when your team's on top and your heart's in your hand. Man, Manny and EJ, they lost and confused. Knicks played hard, but it wasn't what they used to. Every missed shot, every turn, oh, they saw leaving them shot. They can't believe what they're in for. Manny and EJ, they're diehard Knicks fans.
Peter Bellotti, he made a prediction, said that he gonna win. Celtics got no conviction, but now he's hiding, running away, won't own up to his words, can't face the dismay. He thought Miami would rise like the sun in the sky, but now he's got excuses, got no alibi. He thought the Heat had it, it was a sure bet, but they couldn't handle Boston, not just yet. Peter Bellotti, where you at now? You made a bold choice, but where's your wow? Can't stand the heat in the kitchen. Your predictions cold. You're playing hide and seek, leaving us in the fold. You're playing hide and seek, leaving us in the fold. Peter Bellotti, he made a prediction.
1 minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back to the Maggie Perloff Show. It's a Wednesday, which means we do something called The Great Debate. Today, we're asking what is the greatest sports innovation of all time, because it's been very much in the news. Torpedo bats, all the changes to the NFL. Hawkeye is going to be used for first downs, changing OT rules, all types of different innovation. Can I give you a few from the chat before we get to the
Yeah,
phone?
please.
Okay, the chat coming through big time. Daly says golf balls and golf club technology.
I get it.
Whole reason why we have the torpedo bats now, because club fitting and whatnot.
A few different like equipment-based ones, like tennis rackets, obviously changing from the wooden rackets to, what is it?
Wooden?
Graphite and
Graphite and whatever made out of.
Big Bertha. You ever swung one of those? That was a game changer.
It was.
In the 90s, yep.
Are people still playing with those? I'm not.
I think they evolved. I think they call a different kind of club a Big Bertha.
How about Madden, the video game?
Yeah,
Big
sure.
one.
Well, game stinks now, but I digress.
But how many people it taught football?
Oh,
you know,
yours,
if you never played it.
Included. Yeah.
And also from the chat, NFL Red Zone. Now, EJ had out-of-market games, Sunday Ticket, League Pass, etc. as his biggest innovation. Red Zone, though, took it to a completely different, a crazy way where you're getting just the highlights in real time.
7 hours of commercial-free football.
Yep.
Well, it's not commercial-free anymore.
In my world, I get Red Zone in that, because Red Zone is an offshoot of Sunday Ticket.
Red Zone is amazing. I'm also kind of surprised because they have it in other leagues. Like NBA TV has kind of a version of this. They kind of drop in on different games all throughout the night. Gold Zone for the Olympics, but no one's done it as well as Red Zone.
No.
I'm looking at other couple similar. ESPN has a list. High definition television. Interesting. Twitter.
Is that sports, though?
Yeah.
I think
these are sports. Twitter, that's a huge game changer for sports. Yeah.
We're talking about the worst innovations of all time. We want
YouTube,
the best, not the worst.
One that's having a huge impact now, YouTube, because I know so many kids who watch basketball highlights and not games.
True.
I mean, YouTube is the way that I was able to watch old boxing matches. Everything's up there.
Same.
Like, I wasn't watching Marvelous Marvin Hagler, and but now you
ESPN
can.
Classics.
Yep.
They
Oh
should
yeah,
show
that
them
was That was
Remember
great, but I still watch Hardwood Classics on NBA
Oh, that's
TV.
great, too.
Here's one on this list that I don't agree with. iPads as playbooks. To me, I don't know. Is that big a deal? Except when Tom Brady used to wreck them. That's the only time I ever cared
I
about
think
it.
that's cool.
That's a Google Surface.
And it's the best part of Hard Knocks, right? When the dopey guy, the dopey trainer comes in, is like, "Hey, give him your iPad." And you're like, "Oh, he's done."
Although when
I hate that feeling. I just felt that in my gut when you said that.
when a guy gets cut, turn in your iPad and get out of here. Although when I used to host a show with Bart Scott, he said that he played before they had iPads and they actually had playbooks. And when they weren't sure if guys were actually learning the playbook, they would slip like $100 bills or dirty photos or whatever it was and see if the guy ever said anything. And if he never mentioned anything, they knew they weren't reading the playbook.
That's awesome because remember we saw in the Johnny Manziel doc that they were able to electronically logged his hours on his iPad and they saw zero with the Cleveland Browns. They knew he was not studying anything.
Kevin is in San Antonio.
Don't really care.
Kevin, I don't know if this is the best invention or the worst invention. What do you got?
Well, I got is this when I start getting interest in hockey. When Fox signed a contract with the NHL, and it was NHL on Fox, they have the glow puck.
The glow puck was so controversial,
Yep.
Kevin. Thank you for the call and thank you for checking in. But people hated the glow puck. They got rid of it.
Another one of the companies I used to work for, Sport Vision, had the glow puck. Eventually, the glow puck helped innovate the first down line. Same company.
Which is great.
There were two. Then there was Princeton Analytics, who also did the first down line. But now the ability to lay graphics over a TV screen, the glow puck led to that. So it's all good. But I don't know why people hated that. What's a big deal?
I don't know. There was a huge
They
backlash
did.
to the glow puck. I was a kid, so I thought it was kind of cool. But yeah, I guess you just don't need it. With that in mind, also, do you like the little box that's in the batter, like where you see the strike zone?
I do.
I like it.
I used to because not a lot of channels had that, but now that every channel does, I just get angrier at umpires.
We're moving in 5 years. I wonder if we're going to have computer umpires or whatever, robot umpires.
No, we're getting them next year.
ABS, yeah.
Most likely.
Is that happening?
Yeah, they tested them out in spring training, remember?
Yeah, no, I know, but I haven't heard any official word that they're going that direction.
That's generally where it goes, right? Like they started the pitch clock
Yeah.
and then it happened, and they started the
mound visits,
and then it happened. The minor leagues is always that breeding ground. Steele's in Texas has won. Good morning, Steele.
Yes, thank you for having me on, but I think it's like nutrition and the personal care given to these athletes these days.
Yeah, the taking care of their bodies. Now, Manny picked Gatorade as the best invention. That's very specific. You're talking about more just sports health.
Yeah, you used to see pictures of them in the locker room, eating hot dogs and smoking cigarettes and things like that. And now, how much they're taking care of their bodies and with all the weight conditioning and
yeah, but then
and
Joker,
it's all the athletes these days doing that.
and still the best basketball player, Joker, I assume smokes. We don't have any proof.
We have all
You know
the
that.
Eastern Europeans smoke to us.
Yeah. Luca's doing hookah and beer. Yeah, I totally agree with him, but I do think there are some old school. Just guys are awesome. Larry Bird never hit a weight room, and he was fine.
Early 90s Eastern Europeans, they smoke cigarettes. Late 90s born Eastern Europeans, they smoke hookah.
Yeah, right. Is that an innovation? I don't think so. Hookah's been around for a long time.
Works for
Thank you,
Luca.
Steele. I think with sports nutrition, though, and that, I get it, right? Because he's right. The Len Dawson photo of him smoking cigarettes and stuff, we're so far from that. But then you could take it to the steroids. I mean,
Mike McDaniel vaped on the sideline.
but
We're
he's not
that
playing.
far. Yeah, but
he's just a nerd coach.
I think there are players who do the same. I would imagine, and they definitely are smoking something else.
Well,
That we know.
That I think some of them do it because they like it, and also because they don't want to. Some don't want to take painkillers.
Yeah, I love that. narrative.
Are football players ripping the pen right before they go to on the football field?
No, at home.
Yeah.
I imagine that if you're high in a huddle, and then the quarterback spits out a play.
The fact that the NFL
Spider
plays.
right, 2 banana, flex right, 14, 17, on one, ready, break.
To get the 17th game, did they have to give up marijuana testing? I think at some point that was such a big deal.
They left it by the wayside. Jared's in North Carolina.
nice
Quickly,
Gatorade
Jared,
also.
the greatest sports innovation. We only have a couple seconds here. What do you got?
Hey, I got a couple. I got the Astrodome, which introduced us to AstroTurf, brought the outdoor sports indoors, and then kind of piggybacking off the sports nutrition, got in medicine Tommy John surgery. I mean, it's just revolutionized. So.
Oh, Jared,
Cool.
fantastic call right here at the end of the hour. The Astrodome bringing sports inside.
Yep.
Huge.
Yep.
Tommy John, Dr. Frank Job.
Yeah, saved careers.
And the progress that Tommy John has made over the years. That used to be a year, but that used to be 15 months. Now pitchers coming back in 9.
Dustin May has already had 6 of them, and he just won a game last night. By the way, Tommy John should have known that he was going to get that elbow injury. I mean, the whole thing
Was named after him.
Yeah. Hashtag dad joke.
There you go, Pearl.
I mean, Dr. James Andrews. Is he an innovator? He's just really good at performing
I'm not
all
sure.
of these.
Neil Elitrosh with the tightrope surgery.
Coming up, what did the Pittsburgh Steelers owner have to say about Aaron Rodgers? We'll tell you.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. 1 minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff on the Infinity Sports Network.
I mean, a question for Jerry Jones is why? Why are we making things more complicated than they need to be? Welcome to the show, Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. And I'm sorry, I can't believe that Jerry is like this master negotiator and this business whiz, because he's unnecessarily complicating things with Micah Parsons. Welcome to the show, by the way, Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. You know, Jerry goes on this bizarre sort of rant yesterday about not knowing who Micah Parsons' agent is, and he's not talking to the agent, and he just wants to go right to Parsons, which, of course, Parsons replies to on social media because he can't help himself. And so, Pearl, we get this whole back and forth when things appear to be going nicely between the two parties and getting this deal done.
Right, but do you think it'll get in the way of the deal? I think the same, and I've been saying this all along, the same deal was going to happen no matter what. Strange things, Jerry's always said strange things in the press, and the outcome's always the same. He always slightly overpays for his own players. They are going to sign a 5-year deal, and there's no way the agent is not getting involved. That's the thing, because he has to do the paperwork. Right, there's no way Jerry can work around Micah the whole time. I guess Jerry's trying to fool him into a handshake deal or something. I have no idea. But the reality is, the other thing about the story, he's like, people are like, oh, he's not talking to the agent. They talked at the combine. That was 4 weeks ago. So this is ridiculous.
Okay, and it's unnecessary to me. And here's where I don't give Jerry the benefit of the doubt on stuff like this, because I don't think it works. I don't think he's getting a deal. I don't think he said something like, I'd rather wait and overpay than rush into something and sign a bad deal. It's like, but we've been here before. We were just here with Dak Prescott. You were just here with CeeDee Lamb. And I can't say that the Cowboys actually won, air quotes, those negotiations, because the players seemed to get everything they wanted and more, and they lost, and at least CeeDee Lamb lost out on some training camp. I guess here's the thing about this. Stupid, naive me. I actually thought this deal might get done in a timely fashion. I no longer think that. I think this is going to be just like all these other negotiations, where the high-profile ones, where this is going to go unnecessarily into training camp, and I'm curious if Micah Parsons shows up.
Oh, I'll do a massive show bet on this one.
He does show up?
I think the deal is done.
Oh, okay.
I think this one's happening soon. Believe it or not. No, you're right to doubt Jerry, and that's a tendency. But all the reporting is that they've settled on a $40-something million deal. I just think that there's no wiggle room for the Cowboys. They're stuck because they waited too long.
Right. Again, Jerry's not outfoxing anybody here.
But that's the funny thing. I'm not like poo-pooing what you're saying, but no doubt Jerry's not. Does anybody think that he's some master negotiator who's sitting across the table from staring him poker style? This is, I think, more of Jerry. Again, I'm going back to the seminal moment is the 2015 draft. Help me out here. Johnny Manziel is on the board. Everyone knows Jerry wants him. And the rest of the Cowboys front office doesn't let Jerry make the pick. I think that they have been putting shackles on what Jerry can actually do. And I'm being serious.
No, it's 2014 draft, and they took Zach Martin. He's going to walk into the Hall of Fame.
And since then, the Cowboys do nothing but boring draft picks of linemen. I think that whatever Jerry's instincts are, I think they're more front facing, but the reality is I think there's a different reality behind the scenes, and maybe somebody else is negotiating with Parsons.
Well, then they're doing a bad job.
But I think they're going to sign him for 5 years, $40 million, and we move on.
Okay, but it's all cumulative, right? And for every Odigizua and that getting done in a timely fashion.
For a big number.
For a big number, but he, look a little deeper into the defensive tackles metrics and grades, and, I think he is an important piece, and they did re-sign their own guy. But here's the thing. Here's my point about that. Okay, well, then we could blast that. But that got done in a very timely fashion. That one. Like, how many, here's the thing. Either Jerry's the bad GM or Steven's the bad GM or Will McClay's, like, whoever, you're saying Jerry's a figurehead now. Then whoever else is behind the scenes is also not doing a great job, because here we are again. And whether it's by $5 million or 10 or whatever, the fact of the matter is you're overpaying for your own guys because you're dragging your feet. It just is worthy of criticism. Now, they can do whatever they want. It's their money. But to think that the peanut gallery of the fans, media, and others are just going to go along with it and be like, oh, yes, bow down, Jerry, the master negotiator. You're not.
Get out of here. Last time, show me one media member, one human being who's ever said bow down to Jerry Jones, the master negotiator. Yes, he cut a good TV deal for the league, but nobody thinks he is, he wrote the art of the deal or anything like that.
Well, that's funny. I think that people look at him and say he bought the Cowboys for $880 million. They're worth, I don't even know what they do, $12 billion. I don't even know what they'd sell for now. So ipso facto, Jerry wins all negotiations. And that's so far from the truth. If you're paying attention to the football team, he's not winning, and yet he keeps doing this over and over again.
What is the ultimate narrative about Jerry Jones, the owner? His ego got in the way, and he kicked Jimmy Johnson to the curb.
Right.
He said goodbye to the dynasty because he wanted to be the man, and it was one of the biggest sports failures we've had. I think that is a more overwhelming narrative than the fact that he helped the league make all this money. Now, I know he made the Hall of Fame, but generally, I don't think people think he is some, who's the great football negotiator? He's Gil Brandt or somebody. I don't think they view him that way. I think they think that he's too emotional, and therefore he's never been a cold, calculated kind of guy.
And that's why they're not going to win, I guess.
I think so.
And you know what? That's frustrating because, you're stuck here. And it's different from other bad owners. Like we saw Dan Snyder eventually get booted out, and Jerry Richardson's family decided to sell because of their embarrassing scandal. And all these, for all the reasons why ownership does change hands, it's not going to happen with the Cowboys. And I don't think that Steven, there's not a lot of evidence that he's going to be all that much better. So you're just sort of...
Well, I don't know.
Stuck. You actually have talented players because you're paying at the top of the market for a lot of these very important positions, yet you've got literally no hardware to show for it.
Yeah. I wonder, I'm going to give Steven the benefit of the doubt.
Why?
Because he doesn't, he's not the GM. I think Steven might, when Jerry...
Well, is Jerry a figurehead?
When Jerry finally steps down, I wonder if Steven would actually hire a GM.
But you think Jerry's a figurehead, so who actually is running stuff?
But you can't hire a GM if Jerry's still the GM. I wonder if Steven would set up the organization differently. I don't know. I'm not sure Steven would be Jerry. Does Steven want to claim the GM title? Do we know that for sure? He definitely wants to be the owner. I know that. I'm not sure Steven's going to be the GM. I'll bet you he is smart enough to say, okay, I understand I need a different GM other than me.
I'm curious, how long are we going to do this?
Well, Jerry's 82. I would say 3 or 4 more years.
888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. Can the Cowboys ever win like this? Again, Jerry unnecessarily coming in here and muddying the waters, in my opinion, because it seemed like things were going well with Micah Parsons. They're talking on the phone. Yeah, their lines of communication are open.
It's April 2nd. There's tons of time to finish this deal. You said training camp. That's the end of July. And there's...
Well, OTAs, I mean... Does that stuff matter for a guy? Micah Parsons, I know he seems like he's been around for a long time. He's still a young guy in this league. To blow off OTAs, that's kind of more of a veteran move, no?
Well, are you talking about the mandatory ones or the...
I'm talking about any of them. Like, you're 26 years old. Go to OTAs.
I don't think Micah Parsons needs an OTA. What kind of playbook? Hey, hike, go kill the quarterback.
You got a new defensive coordinator again. Matt Eberflus is in now. Zimmer's out. Like, you want to show up? And I'm not saying he's not going to. He may. But again, like without a contract, he might just have to use that as a leverage thing.
Well, the big one is training camp too. Will he hold out? And I don't think so. I think they're done by then. I think there's just not enough wiggle room here for the Cowboys. Already bidded. They're going to make him the highest paid player. What do we let?
And now they don't want to talk to the agent. Like it doesn't make any sense. Again,
yeah, Jerry was trying to get a handshake deal done. Arkansas oil field style.
Yeah, right. I love that he thinks they get a handshake deal done when you just went through this with Dak and CeeDee Lamb, and those clearly weren't handshake deals.
Well, he said he was very specific. He said Dak wouldn't let me talk to him about it. He said only his agent was allowed in the room.
Maybe Dak's the smartest person alive.
Yeah.
888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476.
Are you kidding me?
Okay, we do this thing on Wednesdays. It's called The Great Debate, and we loosely base it on the news. And there's been a lot of news about sports innovations lately. The torpedo bats, a lot of changes with the NFL. So we're asking, what's the greatest sports innovation of all time? And I'll just quickly go around the horn here. I went with fantasy sports. Perloff.
Forward pass.
EJ.
NFL Sunday ticket.
Manny.
Gatorade.
And Chris Lopresti's in for Bogusch today. He went with 24/7 sports talk radio and then eventually TV and kind of the media aspect of this. Mike is in Syracuse. Mike, what's the greatest sports innovation of all time?
Well, born right in Syracuse by Danny Biasome in the 50s was the NBA 24-second shot clock.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much saved the league.
Amen. I mean, it was crazy with the four corners. We all remember that, and just being able to milk the clock, and it was just so boring.
I'm sorry, what
Mike,
year did the 24-second clock come? I'm curious.
I don't know.
Did he say? I don't know anything. I remember.
He said in Syracuse. I think it was college basketball.
I mean, I'm assuming it had to be.
The NBA was decades ahead of the college in this, right? Because the four corners, when they had the four corners, there was a shot clock in the NBA. It was college that was getting killed by not having a clock.
54 was when the 24-second shot clock was introduced.
Bless those people.
And what year was the 35-second? Like in the 80s, right?
I believe that was the 80s, I want to say. Because I remember watching, like, again, I was a crazy person, so I'm watching, like, St. John's versus, Georgetown 1982. And like
on YouTube,
yeah, or this was like on ESPN Classic, which is a channel
on
your cable. And I'm watching the game, and it's like two minutes left, and the announcer's like, all right, Georgetown's gonna be able to just run the clock out. I'm talking to my dad, I'm like, what are you talking about? It's 2 minutes left. He's like, no, they can run the clock out. There's no shot clock. I'm like, this is terrible. It's them just passing the ball back and forth at the half court line.
Wait, EJ, did you have a shot clock in high school?
I did.
Yeah, I did. I did not. We had a four corners offense.
Pennsylvania didn't have a shot clock when you played?
No.
Wow.
I don't think.
I
think a lot of high schools don't really have. I'm not sure every high school has it now.
Well, I know the state of New York does. I think the state of New Jersey does. I know the state of Ohio does not.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, LeBron.
By the way, it's a lot of technology. A lot of you need a good timekeeper.
Yeah, LeBron. I remember LeBron tweeting about it. Oh, we need a shot clock in the state of Ohio. The fact that we still don't have a shot clock in the state of Ohio after a viral clip of a high school game that was finished like 16-14.
Oh.
Yeah, about 2/3. I'm reading about 2/3 of states do not have shot clock.
Yeah. That's asinine.
Well, you know what's crazy? Without it, think about now when you watch a basketball game. Well, we're going to watch the Final Four on the men's and the women's side coming up this weekend. When there's 14.2 seconds left on the clock, you're like, well, this could be like 3 possessions. You really think, obviously the shot clock's a little different than that, but the game's almost never over until it's really finally over because there's always a chance.
God, if they could come up with an innovation to fix the last 2 minutes of basketball games. I mean, the NBA, they try to get rid of timeouts and less replays, but it still seems, has a team ever run out of timeouts? There's always another timeout.
Always.
There's also the replay.
The replay.
Just kill it.
They've done some things to try to get rid of that, but it's still just grinds the game to an absolute halt. John's in San Diego. John, you have a great one that we have not mentioned yet. The greatest sports innovation ever is what?
Poker, when they put the cameras in the table so we could see the hole cards of what the players have. I think that really made the sport, game, I should say, blow up worldwide. Once that happened, I think everybody wanted to play the game because we could see how much everybody was BSing in the game when they were trying to play.
John, it's a great one. It's so funny. It's something you take for granted now because I think ever since the sport's been televised, I'm assuming you've had that cam. I don't know enough about the history of poker on TV to know that.
No, I'm not sure it always had. John, they had poker on TV before that camera, didn't they?
Yeah, they did quite a long time ago. But once they started putting the cameras so we could see the cards and everybody got interested, and then you could see who was playing a real hand, who was playing a bluff, and so forth. And it got interesting, and then everybody wanted to play, and now everybody wants to play poker, and they're going to be the next big millionaire, which they're not going to be.
Yeah, there was a 4-year span.
Not for sitting with you, John. Thank you for the call.
There was a 4-year span where 80% of sports TV was poker. Remember, poker. What happened? It's not the same way now.
And like people playing pool.
Remember the Black Widow?
Oh man,
she was on TV all the time. Yeah. But John's so right. That cam has built up the drama. Poker's already maximum drama, and then builds it up so much. It's a great innovation.
I mean, I think we all poker players became celebrities. Phil Hellmuth.
Mm-hmm. You win a bracelet, right?
Chris Moneymaker, right?
Yeah, Chris Moneymaker. What's the guy? The big star. I'm sorry, I'm forgetting his name. Like the guy that everyone's friends with.
Ipe Mizuhara.
Oh, help me out here. Probably the biggest poker star in the world.
Interpreter.
Oh, my bad.
Anyway.
I thought you said Phil Hellmuth. I thought he's the big guy.
The big star. Phil Ivey. Phil Ivey, too, right there with Hellmuth.
How about innovation cheating in sports, in poker? Don't they have the, ever since you could televise it, don't they have the buzzer? Didn't they accuse a woman of having a buzzer on her leg or something?
Jose Altuve was playing in the
How about it? I'm a big fan of when chess players go to the bathroom and use their iPhones. Like any kind of cheating, there's a lot of ways to cheat in poker.
Those cheating allegations in chess and poker and where they're putting those buzzers, that'll make you blush.
I mean, you want to talk about obscure sports? Like, how about like GoPros and what it did for surfing?
Yep.
Like watching surfing matches and snowboarding and being able to see them on the actual waves. Like some of the shots you saw during the Olympics they were incredible, and that's because of the technology with the GoPro.
Yeah, drones, the blimp.
Yep.
I mean,
drones are also part of it. Yeah,
all the ways that we literally watch sports on TV.
Yeah, the blimp. Now wait, when they used to have the Goodyear blimp, was there a camera going down on the stage?
All the shots were always courtesy of the Goodyear blimp. Nobody is mentioned here, and I'm kind of surprised, especially EJ. You never mentioned sneakers, sports innovation. We talked about tennis rackets, golf clubs. We've talked about helmets and cups and all the other things. But I'm surprised you didn't mention Jordans.
Well, I saw ESPN had Jordans as number one on one of their lists. I don't get it. What was the innovation?
Just basketball shoes, going from Converse
it became the biggest business, one of the biggest retail businesses we have.
But it's actually not the shoe; it's the marketing. The shoe had been around.
But the shoe was also innovation, like not maybe Jordans per se, but that era of sneaker, right? Like they were wearing Chuck Taylors. Like you watch a clip of.
Well, that's leather sneakers.
Right, that's my point though. But like if you watch like a clip of the 50s and you see Will Chamberlain scoring 67 points on Converses, you're like, how did he not tear both of his ankles? Like, how did he do that?
But I think Jordan was because it launched the sneaker industry, which we now know it, not because of the actual shoe. I
was talking about both. I'm talking about the actual sneaker technology, like a tennis racket getting better, and also the impact that had on the culture.
Right. I don't think the Jordan shoe was any different than the competitors at the time. It was just a leather basketball shoe.
Okay, so you could just say, as I said, sneakers.
Because you had weapons.
What I think
you're talking about the ESPN article, right? She's saying just sneakers, which I would agree with.
Right. I was yes, leather sneakers, but are we going to put Hokas on there so old people can walk around now?
Sports.
Skechers.
Talking about real sports.
Hoka's
not speed walking through Brooklyn.
What is the most successful shoe brand in the last 3 years? It is by far Hoka.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean they look cool. 888-710-4ISN. 888-710-4476. I'm sorry. They may be super comfortable. I'm sure they are. It looks like a corrective shoe.
I can't do it. Yeah.
But if they want to sponsor the show, then I'll love them.
The colors are awesome, aren't they?
Colors are cool. Andre has a bunch.
Maybe they can correct your foot size.
Impossible. It's only getting bigger.
Honestly, those Hokas are big. Like Maggie would be like a size 13 if she had to wear Hokas.
I'd be out here tripping people.
I would argue Hoka's influenced actual real shoes because now all the NBA guys use pastel shoes, and Hoka had pastel shoes like 5 years ago.
Oh, Nike's was doing that since I was in high school.
But Hoka, people are like, wait, why? Or is everyone wearing light blue and pink shoes? Hoka likes the ugliest colors known to man.
And my brother, when he was coming up in high school, so that's like 18, 17, like all of his sneakers were just like, what are these colors? But that was the wave back then.
Really?
Kobe did a bunch where Kobe was just the Grinches, the Bruce Lees. Like he was wearing sneakers that were just not anything close to Laker colors, but they were so awesome it didn't matter.
888-710-4ISN. We're asking you, what is the greatest sports innovation of all time? I think if we keep going the way we're going, at some point the torpedo bat may make this list.
Could be.
It's possible.
I'm surprised no one said the aluminum bat.
Yeah, but they banned it. I mean, they've never allowed it.
Well, yeah, I mean, they did in college, though. That's what I'm saying. For a while.
Ping, ping. That's the aluminum bat sound.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, yep.
You know, Perloff, so multi-talented, but...
Ping. Well, you think of the metal bat. Isn't that what everyone thinks about, the noise it makes?
Uh-huh.
A regular Dougie Fresh over there. Just making all these sounds with his mouth.
Sound effect guy.
Beatboxer. 888-710-4ISN. Okay, lots to do, including, we mentioned, we've got movie sequel bracket to update for you, and we have the owner of the Pittsburgh Steelers weighing in on their quarterback situation. We'll tell you all the latest next.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 45 seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back, Maggie and Perloff Show. So we're doing the sequel bracket, Maggie, our side bracket we do every spring, and it's the greatest movie sequel of all time. I can't turn on my TV without seeing one of these movies at some point.
I know.
I just realized that I've been watching more cable television lately because of the tournament. You know, you don't necessarily need, and I'm in the channels, the TBS, TNT, and you always go, what's True TV? And you flip around, and they're like, boom, there's a Batman movie. Boom, there's a Marvel
channel
movie.
Or one of those, yeah.
Yeah, so I've been doing a lot
Volume 2.
of cable flipping, and it's amazing. Everything that we're talking about is on TV at some point soon. And the movies we have left, I've seen them all multiple times.
Yeah, so we have more to get to. Let's hit it. The Maggie and Perloff movie sequel bracket. This is our attempt to find the greatest movie sequel of all time. It's going great. A lot of chalk, kind of like the men's tournament. Had to say goodbye to our 14th seed Cinderella, Naked Gun 2.5, The Smell of Fear. That was sad.
Yeah, I mean, the 14 teams never made the Final Four in the real tournament or this one.
So let's get going. The Gotham City region, we're down to the Elite Eight. Can you believe it? The number 1 seed and the number 1 overall seed in this tournament is the Dark Knight.
I know the truth. There's no going back. You've changed things. Forever. Then why do you want to kill me? I don't want to kill you. What would I do without you? Go back to ripping off mob dealers? No. You complete me. You're garbage. You kills for money. Don't talk like one of them. You're not. Even if you'd like to be. To them, you're just a freak. Like me.
And the Dark Knight is going up against the 3 seed in this Gotham City region, Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom.
Water! Come on!
Okay, and in the Corleone region now, again, we're in the Elite Eight, the Maggie and Perloff movie sequel bracket. Again, a 1 versus 3 matchup. The 1 seed in this region, well, what else? The Godfather Part 2.
You gotta understand that your father has plans for you. Now, many times, he and I have talked about your future.
Talk to my father about my future. My future.
Mikey, he has high hopes for you.
Well, I have my own plans for my future.
Once you go to college, you get stupid. You're really stupid.
And the 3
Right,
seed.
that was the wrong movie.
I think that's Godfather 1.
Yeah, it's when he's trying to convince Sonny
Tom.
into letting him.
Well, that was Tom, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was Tom, but
Yeah.
they're trying to get then Sonny. James Caan was speaking there. He has James Caan has a cameo in Godfather 2, but
Yeah.
the wrong movie.
I think that's 1, EJ.
EJ has not seen The Godfather.
I've not seen The Godfather.
There
Just
you go.
keep going with the Fredo one. Okay, so the 1 seed in this region, Godfather Part 2, is up against the 3 seed Top Gun Maverick.
Who the hell is that?
Maverick to range control. Entering Point Alpha. Confirm green range.
Maverick, range control. Green range is confirmed. I don't see an event scheduled for you, sir.
Well, I'm going anyway.
Nice.
Setting time to target, 2 minutes, 15 seconds.
2:15, that's impossible.
File attack point. Mavericks inbound.
All right, there you have it. We're down to the Elite Eight. So that's the Gotham City region, the Dark Knight versus Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. In the Corleone region, Godfather Part 2 against Top Gun Maverick. We are trying to find the greatest movie sequel of all time.
Any predictions here, Meg?
I think one seeds are going to roll here.
Yeah. Top Gun Maverick's pretty good, but half the movie they're explaining why actual pilots matter in the time of drones.
Yeah.
That felt like a little bit of an asterisk with the entire movie. Like, why didn't you just send a drone in there?
Yeah, I mean,
But,
because they're elite. That's why.
Well, it's the
'Cause
kind
no
of
one-
it was the ultimate old school. Tom Cruise is like, yeah, I'm the old school pilot. Dying breed. But there was a lot of hunks in that one. They had a beach scene.
Mhm,
They're playing
you have
football. That was their version of their volleyball scene, which apparently affected a young Maggie Gray greatly.
Oh, did it ever? And as we, learned that Val Kilmer passed away, we got that news overnight. The beach volleyball scene in the original Top Gun, not the sequel, but the original, may have been one of the most influential things I've ever seen.
So
I said it made me want to brush my hair before I went to school. I mean, it was 1986, so I didn't see it the first time. I was born in 83. But when I eventually did watch it, it was like, whoa.
What's the male version of that? What is that? I mean, we all
Probably Wild Things where they kiss in the pool or something.
Charlie's Angels.
Baywatch.
Pamela Anderson on Baywatch.
So you guys have a lot of them.
The Lingerie Football League.
I mean, I'm sure we could come up with a long list.
The lingerie football.
Is it like
the NBA?
Rita Hayworth when she throws her hair back, like in Shawshank Redemption? They show that moment. I don't know.
Yeah, no.
Marilyn Monroe standing over the grate with the.
Not for these gentlemen on the other side. A little too young, as we just learned with the Godfather clip there. Predates them a little bit.
Yeah.
Marilyn Monroe, I would say.
Probably.
Myself
Marilyn
as
Monroe,
well.
right?
Who?
But no. I think every generation has their version.
Every generation, sure, but the two she mentioned,
No.
Marilyn Monroe and the Rita Hayworth, probably a little
old.
before their time.
The Denise Richards kiss was.
That's what I'm saying. Wild Things.
Yeah, that was a big deal. There was also the one with Sarah Michelle Gellar and
Cruel Intentions.
Selma Blair.
That was a big
We're
one.
taking an unexpected left turn here.
And someone just drove their car off the road. No.
I'm sorry, what are these names again?
Keep them straight. Manny's writing it down.
You don't know Cruel
quaint
Intentions?
to you.
No.
Manny grew up with the internet. This is going to seem like child's play.
97, baby.
Cruel Intentions. I know they did a remake of it recently.
Doesn't
Nothing.
ring a bell. Nothing.
And Cruel Intentions was a remake.
With our buddy Ryan Felipe.
Yeah.
Nothing ringing a bell up here.
You might like it.
I think Manny will like it.
I think every man who ever watched that like it. But no, that beach volleyball scene in Top Gun.
Top notch.
Big time. And who is it? Kelly Gillis is her name?
Kelly McGillis.
Kelly McGillis.
Yeah.
I mean, that scene where her and Tom Cruise are together and the lighting is all dark, it's up there. Top 10.
Listen, Rush Hour 2, we had Rosalind Sanchez. We're good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That'll be a different grade debate.
I like Snoopy.
Manny's so mad that Rush Hour 2 got bounced early in this tournament.
Love the Rush Hours.
EJ,
man.
why are you lying? You really want to say Anne Hathaway and Princess Diaries, your ultimate crush.
Oh, that's a teenage.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about.
But she wasn't trying to be sexy in that
No.
movie. The whole
Because
point was
There's
that
no
she
sex
was
scene in the
Yeah.
Princess
Right, but
Diaries.
you were 9 at the time. You probably thought she was your age.
No, I love Anne. I mean, I've made it clear how much I loved Anne Hathaway.
I don't think Anne Hathaway's. I'm trying to think. I don't know her whole filmography. I don't think she's ever had a sex scene.
Sex scene?
Or,
definitely. The Love and Drugs
Yeah, she's
movie
had a
with
lot,
Jake
actually.
Gyllenhaal.
Yeah, no.
Big time sex scene.
I've
Oh,
watched
sorry.
it on.
Wow.
Yeah.
I stand
Fake
corrected.
news you just got.
I
mean,
remember that movie.
The three of them were coming at you.
yeah,
no,
well-
actually, they
By
gave
the way,
you multiple.
I have a
multiple.
Let me give you a time code.
Point of
Maggie.
order.
Yeah, was that in 40-year-old
time
version where they're
code.
creating the website that tracks all the nudity?
Yeah,
in
Mr.
the movie?
Skin.
Yeah.
It was a knockoff, Mr. Skin.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Come on, Anne Hathaway. But Anne Hathaway, is not your traditional crush. I don't think.
No,
You
I
keep
would
saying
agree.
that. I don't
Yeah.
understand what you're talking
She's
about.
just a
Sheila-
fine actress. She's
Sheila's
not
coming
like
at
we're
you
talking
now,
about
too,
Denise
EJ.
Richards and
Yeah.
I think it's
Pam
it's
Anderson.
because of your generation. My generation, Anne Hathaway is her. I don't know what you're talking about.
She's
She's not
sexy?
the traditional sex symbol.
yeah,
I
like
don't-
Devil Wears Prada. Really?
Hey, by the way, did you see the more traditional, the woman who this show is mildly obsessed with,
Oh,
slash majorly obsessed with, is Sydney Sweeney,
We're
obviously.
truly obsessed with.
She broke up with her fiance.
Yeah.
Raise the roof. It's Manny's time to shine.
But is she
All right, then.
now dating the guy from the
Glenn
top?
Powell? I
Yeah.
don't think so.
No?
I don't know. There's rumors.
Seems like there's a lot of chemistry there.
I feel like that was to sell a movie.
We're
Wasn't
talking
it?
about Top Gun
Well,
Maverick.
Yes, but they did a movie together.
No, but they
as
were
well.
she was just at his brother's wedding or something?
Is that what
Sister's
it was?
wedding. It was a
Sister's wedding? Yeah,
That
I mean,
sparked all
connect
the
the
rumors.
dots.
Okay.
Connect the dots.
I mean, get invited to a wedding is kind of a big deal.
Yeah, I mean, it
That's
feels
not
like
just
America
friends.
wants them together. It's like
Those
a Brad
two-
Pitt, Angelina Jolie thing.
Those two roll up at your wedding. Talk about taking the attention off the bride.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
That's tough.
Yeah.
Although I think a lot of brides would be okay with it. Oh, all right. I mean, guys, I was a bride, but
Who am I to say?
I don't think I would have cared.
No.
I mean,
Till she rolls up in there, then you start caring.
yeah, but here's the
Looking
thing.
the way that she does.
I know, but see, I don't think the bride. It's not about getting like
Respectfully.
attention like that from the men. It's your day because you're there with friends and family and celebrating. It's not like,
And
oh,
Sydney's
I've got
wedding.
all these guys at the bar chasing me. Like it's
No,
a different vibe.
But just in general, the attention's supposed to be on you,
Right.
And you're groomed to a certain extent.
Who?
My
Wait, I'm
father
sorry,
once,
what?
my father on my wedding day told me, just remember, you're just the ornament. And I was like, okay.
Yeah. Do you
Got
take
it.
this man?
Yeah.
This was actually a story. I remember reading about it that Jerry Rice apparently crashes a lot of weddings
Mm-hmm.
that
Jerry's
happen
eating
at the at a golf club that he plays at a lot in
Okay.
the Bay Area. And one bride got ticked off. And normally everyone's like, "Oh my gosh, Jerry Rice took too much attention away,"
There you
and the
go.
bride was not pleased.
I don't blame her.
Oh,
Because she's
man.
like, "Who is it?"
It's her day.
I would have
Not
killed
his.
for Bill Murray or Will Ferrell to drop by my wedding. I know Murray's done it a lot. That would be the
I
greatest
was gonna
thing
say
of all
if
time.
you could have one celebrity guest at your wedding, I know probably saying Bill Murray. Anyone
No,
else
I would
a-
have Will Ferrell first.
Ferrell. Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
Kind of a lot of pressure for him to do something silly.
Oh no! Celebrity, right? Who's crashing or is actually
Crashing.
invited?
They're at your wedding, whether they were invited or they crashed.
Oh, you got to go with someone who's musical so they can sing to you or, participate in that way, right?
Jalen Brunson.
Yeah, no, I'm assuming Will Ferrell
that
gets
would
on the
be
mic
cool.
in my scenario.
Would it though?
He does get on the mic.
Oh, are you kidding me?
Clyde Frazier would be awesome.
Yeah, that's
I
better
bet you
than
could make
Bronson.
that happen.
Clyde Frazier.
Think so? I got 2 years, Maggie, or a year. I got time.
What is going on?
He could be swishing and dishing
I've
at
run
your,
into
at
Walt
your wedding.
Frazier at so many normal places in New
I
York
met him.
City.
Yeah,
he
we all
is
have.
not hard to track down.
Can I
He-
get him to
invite him.
Can I get him to Maryland on Juneteenth next year to go to my wedding? Is that a thing?
Definitely. Well, he's a EJ
Probably get her
Stewart
to Midtown.
styling and profiling
Definitely.
down the aisle.
Definitely.
Styling and
Like-
profiling down the aisle. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Found
You
it.
could
think
announce
those-
your wedding. It'd be amazing.
Talking about taking the attention away from the bride.
It's probably harder to get Breen. You think
Yeah,
I'm
that's-
I know
kidding?
Mike Green too.
Ah,
I've met Mike
definitely.
Green. Mike Green was I always told you guys, he was my youth basketball coach.
I think that you could probably get Walt Frazier for many weddings, bar mitzvahs, other. I think you can get that. I
Oh,
think that
actually,
happen.
if you could have Marv Albert there to say something, yes, after you guys tie the knot.
That would be cool too.
Did EJ just say
Or get
Mike
a-
Breen was his youth basketball coach?
I've told this story. Yeah, Mike
I'm
Green.
sorry. I know I'm not here regularly. That's
He was the
interesting.
assistant. He was the assistant coach. He was Coach Mike.
Didn't even have top billing.
No,
Jeez.
top billing was a guy who kind of works here, Tim Capstraw.
Wow.
Yeah.
He was the head coach.
You had Capstraw and Breen?
Yes.
That's tremendous.
Crazy.
Announcing
Wow.
legends. Capper's so funny on those
Yeah.
broadcasts.
Oh,
He and
man.
Carino are just
We were like the
dynamite.
bad news bears of this league, though. Our team was terrible.
Really? With those two guys running the show?
It was the talent. I was the best player. What do you?
Coaching doesn't matter. You
come
got to
on.
have the players.
Yeah, if I'm the best player, you're in trouble.
This is an AAU team?
This was a development team for an AAU team. Yeah. And Mike Green's son was on the team. So Mike Jr. was on the team.
Miguelito.
And Tim Capstraw was the head coach, and Mike was the assistant. And no one cared that either of those guys were coaching, by the way. Me being this crazy sports kid icon who wanted to be in this business, who saw Mike Breen, who does Knicks games, I'm looking at these other kids like, are you guys not freaking out? The guy who does the Knicks games is right here, and the guy that's doing the Nets games on the radio is right here. They're
with
coaching
you.
us.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I
I
know.
would have been geeked about that.
Well, that's because we're all dorks. Pearl, did you ever coach any of your daughters, like, sports?
No, are you kidding me? No.
How dare you ask?
No, they hate the kind of sports that I know about. One daughter was a swimmer. The other is like basically a professional dancer already.
So nobody.
Think I would coach dancing? Oh my
I'm
god!
just surprised you didn't force them into basketball, even just like the early stuff
Yeah, you
when
didn't-
before your kids have a choice.
You didn't tell anybody to get down on the low block and start working these post
My
moves?
kids hate basketball. I don't
you
know
know,
why.
you force your kids to do stuff they don't want to do all the time. Not you, us as parents.
I've had no influence on my children. It's bizarre. My wife has determined that. I don't know.
My
They
wife.
hate. My oldest daughter can't see. She needs glasses. So
do you, and you played basketball.
My wife.
I know. Well, she honestly, you throw a ball at her and she hits her, and then she's like, "Wait, what just happened?" The other one is
maybe she needs to fix the prescription.
I don't know.
Contacts.
Yeah, I have coached youth basketball many times, so I'm pretty awesome at it.
I'm
pretty awesome at it.
I'll draw up a
Guys,
play.
right hour
I'll make
here.
up a play
I
on the
didn't
spot.
realize
For some reason, I've coached, and in college I coached, and then at camps. For some reason, I coached at camps, and I always coach girls basketball mostly. And I would try to draw up a play, make up on the spot, never worked.
Coaching at camps
Steve
is so
Blur
much fun.
over here.
Yeah.
Good work.
It's a long day, though, coaching at a basketball camp with like
It's really
third
a general sports camp, so it wasn't all day.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I coached at my high school basketball camp, and it was fun, but trying to wrangle third graders, for a whole day.
No.
My brother's a high school teacher, and he was a former basketball player. He's taller than me.
Mhm.
He does not want to coach. He says it's not fun. If you're not into
like
it.
kids these days or ever?
No, he just does it. He says like being a high school coach is so much more work than it's worth.
Oh, yeah.
Coaching high school kids is the worst.
He hated
I've
it.
coached middle school, elementary school, and high school.
Yeah.
I would never do high school again.
Yeah, I mean, you get
What
a
about
little
for
bit
the
of
love of it? Your mentor.
Nah, forget
you're
that.
changing kids' lives.
No, because those kids think they know better, so they don't. They're the most uncoachable of the group.
Probably depends on school and the area you're in, I would say. I had a positive coaching experience in high school, but like to
You
Perloff's
coached high school? Or
brother's point, you're not getting paid a lot of money for the extra work.
Exactly. My brother's just not into it. It's not that it's terrible, and he said it's a pain. He's like, you get paid like I don't know, a little bit of extra money to
stipend,
stay late,
basically.
and then you have to
Yeah.
deal with the parents and everyone and transportation. He says it's a pain in the butt. Bro,
I was
what are you doing
convinced-
here?
I was convinced that my high school coaches were jerks purely because they were math teachers.
I hated my high school teachers
Like they were
It's so funny because you hear professional athletes, and a lot of them will go back to the high school
Yes.
coach, the Pee Wee coach. They believed in me.
Yeah, that's because that guy was awesome, man.
Right.
They gave all the attention to him. The
Perloff
rest of us
nailed it.
hated that guy.
Yes, everyone else hates that. Everyone else hates the coach, the star player. Oh yeah, the guy that shows up late to practice, gets all the treatment, gets to come in the gym early when no one else can. Yeah,
Take every shot.
yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm. I hated my coach. And then my coach got fired for Greg Downer, and is the most famous coach in the history of Pennsylvania basketball because he coached Kobe and won a state title.
And you threw a party.
What do you mean?
You threw a party after he got canned.
No, he got canned after my senior year because our team was so bad.
No Kobe.
No Kobe.
Maggie,
that might do it.
But get back to the point.
Lucky Greg Downer came in and Kobe Bryant walked in.
Greg Downer, Hall of Famer. What are you going to coach your kid? Because it's not as simple as you might think.
Well, the only thing I could really probably coach is tennis.
Wow, no.
Do you think I'm drawing up plays?
Your son's 5.
You can coach basketball.
You coach soccer. No, anybody can coach soccer. They need bodies to coach soccer.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, just teach them a zone and they're good.
All right, Billie Jean King, just do your thing, girl.
Billie Jean King.
Are you allowed to play zone with a 6-year-old kid?
My dad did.
I watched enough Syracuse games. I'm pretty sure I'm an expert
My
in
dad
zone.
had us playing 2-3 zone, and we just
If
ran,
you do a
we
boxing
ran
one
through-
with a 6-year-old kid, you should be banned from the league.
Oh, I've seen it.
Yeah, I definitely have seen that.
All right, we got to take a quick time out. CeeLo Hang, do some updates for us and headlines in the next segment. Did you hate your high school coach? 888-710-4ISN.
Mm-hmm.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining.
He made a prediction. Roasting Tom Brady. We took it too far. Glorious flight. He's on the chat, tuning in. Where it's at. Infinity Sports Radio, playing all morning. Dancing to the beat, feeling so right. The takes are loud, his speakers blast. He's a Twitch viewer, having a blast. The ball of his spin and the crowd's going wild. Glorious land, Living life in 20-second views. Scrolling through, he's got no time to lose. Maggie and Perloff, Daily's keeping score. YouTube's his love. He's begging for more. Double tap, clicking on that video. From sunrise to sunset, he never lets it go. Maggie snappy, Perloff's got a glow. Daily's hooked. Pine Needles wakes up at dawn. Coffee brewing, screen turned on. He's got a favorite show to see. The Maggie and Perloff Symphony. Oh, Pine Needles are tuned in tight to Infinity Sports Radio every night. Maggie and Perloff, your daily delight in the
Uncle Sam's on YouTube, tuning in for some laughs. With a beer in his hand and his feet on the grass, he cheers for the Bogusch and Perloff with a toast to the day. 4th of July is the best, you'll hear him say. You're listening to the Maggie and Perloff Show. Sit back, relax, we got a break to go. In just 5 minutes, we'll be back on air. So take a breath, we'll soon be there. 5 minutes, count it down. Maggie and Perloff, the best show in town. You're listening to the Maggie and Perloff Show. 4 minutes till we're back, let's go. You're listening to the Maggie and Perloff Show. 4 minutes till we're back, let's go. You're listening to the Maggie and Perloff Show. 4 minutes till we're back, let's go.
One minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back. Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff, Infinity Sports Network. So we got a couple things percolating for you. We're down to the Elite Eight in the Maggie and Perloff movie sequel bracket. So you can go to Maggie and Pearl on X and you can vote. We're down to the heavy hitters here. Dark Knight, Godfather 2, Indiana Jones, Temple of Doom, Top Gun Maverick. Lots of cool choices for you to vote on. CeeLo is here, though. He has headlines for us. What's up, dude?
Quick question on that. Temple of Doom's great. Does Last Crusade not count because it wasn't the second one? Is that
we
the deal there?
we did second ones.
Okay.
Only the second
Only the
movie
second.
because
Got
we
it.
could have gotten into a lot of trouble
Weeds.
because of the Marvel universe,
Okay.
etc.
Understood.
But
Okay.
Last Crusade is my favorite Indiana Jones.
Yeah, Temple
That's
Doom
why I
is-
asked. That's my favorite as
Temple
well.
Doom is not great.
It's disturbing with the,
It's
reaching
so
into the
disturbing.
chest
The
and
heart
ripping the
thing?
heart out. Yeah.
Yeah, it freaked me out
Yeah,
big time.
I agree.
CeeLo, there's another one that we were talking about that you really liked. We were talking about earlier. this week.
Ghostbusters 2.
Ghostbusters 2.
I'm a big Ghostbusters guy. Yeah.
And
The
2 was
originals.
great.
2 was fabulous.
Which
Yeah,
one
not
is
as good as
do you
1.
like
but-
it? Do you think it's as good as 1 or
No,
not?
not as good, but definitely enjoyable. Not like, oh, this was crap. Like
Listen.
this was solid effort.
Stay Puft Marshmallow Man
Sure.
is iconic, but
Slimer, Vigo
is great.
Yeah. I've worked with better, but not many. Anything with Bill Murray. I mean, come on. It's tremendous. All right, we've done enough on the football this morning. Tight on time. Do a little bit more NBA-wise here. So the last time Steph Curry played in Memphis, he was held without a field goal, and the Warriors lost by 51 points. I'd forgotten about that back in December. And apparently Steph did as well. He claimed that he had put that out of his mind after he went off for 52 points and 12 threes in last night's 134-125 win over the Grizzlies. Afterwards said he knew he was feeling good, but maybe not that good.
I did shoot it well this morning, a shoot around, so you kind of feel good and have confidence, but you never think it's going to be a 50 night. But the first quarter was just rhythm and decisiveness and the byproduct of good preparation for this game, and then the rest kind of you just flow off of that.
And needless to say, the arrival of Jimmy Butler has changed things for the Warriors. They're now 18-2 with Butler and Curry in the lineup together, pretty much going from the 10 seed in the West all the way up to the 5 since the trade.
I'm the petty king.
Yeah. The Bucks last night snapped a 4-game skid by shooting a franchise record 68.9% from the floor in a 133-123 win over the Suns. That is the highest shooting percentage in a single game since March of 1998. So it's been a minute, and obviously good timing for them to get that done. The last team to do it higher than that, 69.3, was the Clippers back in 98. That was a 152-120 triumph over the Raptors.
EJ,
so
you getting a little nervous about them Bucks?
The Bucks? No.
No Dame.
They suck. I mean, well, I'd rather play them than the Pistons, but
They just hit 70% of their shots.
Yeah, it's one game, right?
Against the
No
Suns.
Dame, obviously. Yeah,
the Suns part of this is actually a little not more interesting because they stink. But did you see the Shams Charania report most recent about the playoffs are going to indicate who goes hard after Kevin Durant? So whoever feels like they're a Kevin Durant away is going to bring in Kevin Durant. Ironically, the team that actually won with Kevin Durant wasn't probably a Kevin Durant away. I think the Golden State Warriors probably could have kept winning even without Kevin Durant.
Could have won one, yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe.
He's never been the finishing piece except for that Warriors team, which already had won a title and was awesome. They won 73 games.
Also, the Suns thought they were Kevin Durant away.
Yeah.
I feel like Kevin Durant is going to go back to Phoenix. Just like end his career on the lowest note possible.
They might want to get rid of him, though.
Well, there was a report. He said yesterday, like, I'm open to returning, or 2 days ago, I'm open to return to Phoenix, too, which is ridiculous. Like, they should have given up on this experiment already. It's ridiculous. But I said the Bucks because the Knicks are facing the Bucks possibly in the first round. I'm just trying to figure out who's going to break Manny and EJ's heart. It's hard for me to choose Cavs, Bucks, Celtics.
I know who it won't
Cleveland
be.
Cavaliers.
I know who it won't be.
The Philadelphia 76ers.
There you go.
Hey, yeah, you know who's getting either a Harper or a Cooper Flag?
You know what's going to happen? You guys are going to get the 7th pick, and that pick is going to go to the OKC Thunder, and we'll all point and laugh at you.
Wow.
Ouch.
Lines
My, how
have
the
been
turntables have turned there.
sand.
Wow.
Enjoy VJ Edgecombe.
Unfortunate situation for this Hawks fan here. A little layup contest during a timeout, and it went horribly.
All right, then tick, tack, go! Oh!
Yeah.
James! Oh, no! Hold on!
Well, yeah, not a ton of sympathy there from the in-house, I guess, announcer.
Oh,
But,
that hype woman was awesome, by the way. That's why the guy went too hard.
Injured ACL for the fan there. Not what you want.
That's a bit of a visual. Is it funny or sad? Because I wanted to laugh.
I think a little bit of both.
Yeah.
It is sad.
Well, EJ, I mean, we all thought of you.
Relatable?
Who EJ hurt his knee at a celebrity charity kickball tournament.
Oh, I did not think of him, but now I am.
No, to be honest, though, at least EJ,
Yeah.
this guy it was like probably at least, 10,000 people sitting in front of the seats. For you, it was
a little bit more.
Us and Deion Dawkins and Zach Gelb.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like, it wasn't that many people.
This guy was trying to win money, though. You were stealing third in a meaningless game with, by the way, analytics was way against that move. Like, why are you stealing third? You could have scored from second anyway.
Did you see our lineup? We were manufacturing no runs that day.
We'd been playing for 30 seconds, EJ. It was the top of the first inning.
I saw the top of the line, but I was like, this is going to be a long day.
That was me.
You're locking him in for scoring from second, no problem?
Oh, my God.
Is that more of a station-to-station
My guy
guy?
steals from second. Like, it was totally an unnecessary move.
All right.
Again, it was kickball.
We had one good player, by the way. It was Maggie's husband who was wearing a headband like the Karate Kid and was treating it like it was Game 7 of the World
I believe
Series.
that. I played
the
a little
rest of us
softball
were
with their
like,
husband, so I've seen him in action.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
was,
the greatest athletic accomplishment of my life, CeeLo witnessed.
Yeah.
I
That's
actually,
at the top of your list?
I saw
Yeah.
EJ got hurt,
Wait, what
and
was it?
I said, I'm out.
Yeah, we basically all quit that day except for my husband
We were
and
all
Zach.
like, I do not want to be, because we realized all of us could have been EJ.
No,
Right.
the greatest athletic accomplishment of my life, CeeLo, were you the batter in front of me?
I think I was, yeah.
So we were at a softball game, company softball game, and CeeLo and I were on the same team, and you may have heard of Craig Carton. Craig Carton was pitching for the other team, intentionally walked CeeLo to get to me, and I hit a walk-off single.
She came through.
There you go.
Take that, Carton.
That's right. That's how you respond.
It was amazing. CeeLo, thank you. EJ Stewart, Manny Rodriguez, Andrew Kaplan, Guidos and Coffee Drinkers, phenomenal job. We'll be back tomorrow. Brendan Hayward's going to join us to talk about the NCAA tournament and more. We'll see you then.
You're in a 5-minute